If we're ready to proceed, then Ms. Gutierrez, you could call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The department calls Remington Brookshire as its witness. Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Brookshire, who do you work for?
The Emerald Police Department.
And what is your role there?
I'm a patrolman, police officer.
Are you a certified police officer?
Yes, ma'am.
How long have you been with APD?
Approximately 5 years.
And how long have you been a certified police officer for?
Approximately a little over 4 years.
Okay. And in regards to becoming a certified police officer, did that require special education and training?
Yes, ma'am, it did.
Can you tell us what that special education and training was?
I had to go through the police academy, which began on January 9th, and then I believe I graduated August 20th. So it was a fairly long police academy with specialized training in various different topics.
And are you current on your continuing education requirements?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, were you working for Amarillo Police Department on January 30th of 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you respond to a call out involving a lady named Alayla Holman?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you tell me what the nature of that call out was?
Just without looking at my report, it was just a physical disturbance. I believe there was a weapon involved per the caller.
Okay. And do you have your report available to you?
I do.
Okay, great. Your Honor, I believe I've circulated this report previously to the attorneys, but I can recirculate that if they need it.
Anybody want it?
You email it to me. I don't think I got it.
Okay, it would have
Right.
been at the beginning of the case, not right now.
Oh, okay.
Teresa, if
Yeah,
you could
no.
send it to me too, please. I wasn't involved in the beginning of the case. Thank you.
Okay, Your Honor, I apologize. Give me 2 minutes and I'll get that done.
All right, why don't you send it to me too?
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Instead of Brittany, just send it directly to my email.
And Judge, I hate to ask this, but can I have a breakout room with Miss Oscarson
Sure.
while we're doing breakout rooms, you know?
You will never ask for enough breakout rooms to catch up with Jill Jackson, I can promise you
This
that.
is true. This is very true.
I've got an incident report. Is that what we're talking about?
Yes, Your Honor. I don't intend to offer it as an exhibit,
Okay.
which is why I didn't send it out to you or with the other exhibits.
Okay.
But my witness does plan on refreshing his memory from it.
Sure. Okay. I'm just going to leave it up. I'm not going to look at it if it's not offered into evidence, but
Thank you.
yeah, I have received it, just so the record's clear.
Okay, thanks.
All right. Has everybody that wanted to look at the incident report received it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Then, Ms. Gutierrez, I believe we can go ahead and go forward.
Is Courtney back?
Courtney's still in a breakout room, Judge.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's right.
I think she's finishing up.
That's all right. This is our only thing set for this morning. All right, then. Are we ready to continue? Oh,
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Lucero is back in the waiting room. All right, Ms. Lucero is back with us, so we are ready to go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I continue questioning Officer Brookshire?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Officer Brookshire, when you arrived on the premises, who did you first see standing outside?
Layla, I believe is how the name is pronounced.
Okay. And was there a child present as well?
Yes, Layla was holding Jazea wrapped in a blanket.
Okay. And while you were there, was there any sort of verbal altercation again?
Yes, ma'am, between Amia and Layla.
And were they yelling at each other?
At times, I recall that they did.
Okay. And what statements did Alayla make about why the police were called?
I don't recall specifically, in looking at my report, I did have that Alayla denied all physical violence between her um, and Amia.
Okay, but did she go on to say more?
Uh,
And let me rephrase. What did she state about a window being broken?
Alayla stated that she and Amia were arguing and that Amia had broken a window before throwing something towards her.
Did you find Alayla to be cooperative during your conversations with her?
Overall, neither party was cooperative. They refused to say a whole lot or fill out any kind of statements.
Okay, and did you offer to transport one of them to a different location?
Yes, to try to separate them to prevent any kind of further altercation from occurring that night.
And was that refused?
It was.
And did they confirm that Josiah was in the home during the altercation?
Yeah, I put the in my report. To the best of my understanding, Josiah was in the home and asleep during the altercation between the two.
And as well, your report reflects that no arrests were made that night. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, I pass the witness.
Ms. Grant,
No questions, Judge.
Ms. Lucero,
No questions.
Ms. Oscarson,
No questions.
Ms. Wiggins.
No question.
All right, anything further, Ms. Gutierrez of Officer Brookshire?
No, Your Honor.
All right. May he be excused. Anyone object?
No
No.
objection.
Objection.
All right, Officer Brookshire, I'll release you so you can go about your day's business. Thank you for your testimony and thank you for your service.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
The department next calls Tyson Aldridge as its witness.
All right.
And for reference on the IRs sent out for, because he'll probably be refreshing his memory from that. It's the one ending in 8694. And Your Honor, again, I don't intend to offer this as evidence.
Okay.
The actual document, I mean.
All righty. All right. Now we do. You may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Officer Aldridge, is that your correct rank and title?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Are you a certified police officer?
Yes, ma'am.
Who do you work for?
The Amarillo Police Department.
How long have you worked for Amarillo Police Department?
Just over 3 years.
And becoming a certified police officer requires special education and training.
Yes.
And what was that special education and training for you?
That was an eight-month academy. It's basically classwork and then practical training. And then after the academy, you have approximately a 2 to 3 month FTO training phase, which is hands-on field training with another training officer.
And are you current on your continuing education requirements?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you working for APD on May 28th of 2023?
Yes.
Okay. And did you receive a call out involving Alayla Hallman?
Yes, ma'am.
What was that call out for?
It was a domestic disturbance. They didn't really give too much detail. It was apparent that there was possibly an assault that occurred. And then we showed up.
Okay. So when you arrived, did you speak with Alayla Hallman?
Yes.
And was there a child present?
Yes.
And was that child Josiah?
Yes.
And what did Alayla explain had happened?
She explained that she had gotten into an argument with a couple of people that were present. I believe it was over one of her deceased friends or something of that nature. She said that it irritated her, and then a physical altercation happened shortly thereafter.
Okay. And what were the details of the physical altercation that she provided?
I believe she said that she was thrown into a wall by Jeremiah, and then I believe she was punched.
Okay. And if your incident report reflects that she stated Amaya approached her and slapped her with the open hand on her cheek, would that be correct?
Yes.
And as well, if your incident report indicated that Jeremiah grabbed Alayla by the throat when slamming her on the wall, would that be correct as well?
Yes.
Did Ms. Hallman admit, or rather, what did Ms. Hallman admit regarding alcohol that night?
She said she had been drinking.
Okay. And did you find Ms. Hallman cooperative during your interview of her?
She was semi-cooperative. I wouldn't say like fully cooperative. But yeah, she at least spoke to us and told her side of the story.
Let's see here. Did she, in your report, it doesn't indicate that she stated where Josiah was during that incident. Is that correct?
Correct.
But she was physically present when you arrived. Is that correct?
Yes, she was holding her.
All right, pass the witness.
All right, thank you, Ms. Grant.
No questions.
Ms. Lucero,
No questions.
Ms. Oscarson,
No questions.
Ms. Wiggins.
Officer Aldridge, when you talked to other individuals at the scene, did it appear that Ms. Holman was possibly the aggressor in the situation?
Yes, there were conflicting stories. Their side of the story was she was the aggressor.
And did you see evidence of injuries on other people they said were caused by Ms. Holman?
Yes, I believe Mr. Collins had injuries, if I remember correctly.
Now, in regards to the child that she was holding, did the child appear to be about 2 years old or a little younger?
Yeah, I'd say it was a young child for sure.
And how was the child? Was the child crying, calm?
I don't exactly remember that.
Okay. All right. And at approximately what time were you dispatched to the location?
It was after midnight for sure. I'm not exactly sure on the time.
Okay. If your report said 1:40 a.m., would you have any reason to doubt that?
That would be exact then.
Okay. And in regards to that time, was that, from your understanding, in close proximity to when the assault happened?
Yes.
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, thank you. Officer Aldridge, you said that Ms. Holman admitted she'd been drinking. Based on your training, did she appear to be intoxicated?
Yes.
Did any of the other people involved in the incident, did they appear to have been drinking and intoxicated also?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir. Anyone
Yes.
else have further questions for Officer Aldridge?
No, Your Honor.
Yeah, who does?
I have one, Judge.
Go ahead.
Officer, did the level of intoxication not give you concern to remove the children?
No, not at the time.
Pass the witness, Judge.
All right, anyone else?
I have a question, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
At the time of this incident, was Alayla Holman under 21 years of age?
I'm not totally sure. I'm sorry about that.
Did you say that what was the date of this incident?
Are you asking me? Sorry.
Yes, sir.
I believe it was May 28th,
Of what year?
2023.
And what's the date of Miss Alayla Holman? Is that in your report? I mean, I'm sorry, the date of birth of Miss Alayla Holman.
Yes. It is 7, correction.
Okay, so does it appear that at that time she would have been 20 years old?
Yes.
And what is the age in Texas in which a person can legally consume alcohol?
21.
All right, so was she under the legal drinking age at the time of this incident?
Yes.
Were there any arrests as a result of this incident?
No.
No further questions.
Anyone else?
Judge, can I confirm that I heard the date of the incident and the birth date correctly?
Sure.
Could you repeat the date of the incident, sir?
May 28th, 2023.
And her date of birth?
2003.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Further questions for Officer Aldridge? All right, maybe he be excused.
No objection.
No objection.
All right.
No.
Officer Aldridge, I'll remove you so you can go about your day's business. Thank you for your testimony and thank you for your service.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge.
Uh-huh.
Your Honor, is Officer Joshua Jenkins in the waiting room? If not, I'll move on to my next witness.
No, ma'am. I don't have a Joshua.
Okay, let me see here. The department next calls Delois Hinders.
Ms. Gutierrez, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Delois, what is your profession?
I am a licensed professional counselor in private practice. I'm also a registered play therapist supervisor.
Okay. And did that require special education and training?
Yes.
Can you tell us about your special education and training?
I have a master's degree in professional counseling. I have additional training as a registered play therapist, which is quite a rigorous credential to obtain. It involves extensive education, hundreds of hours, and supervised practice before obtaining that one.
And are you the therapist for Josiah?
Yes.
When did you start working with Josiah?
Josiah first came to me in late October of 2023.
And are you still currently treating her?
Yes, there was a brief period of time where she was doing relatively well for about 3 months that I didn't see her, but for the most part, except for that 3-month period, I've been seeing her weekly to every other week.
And at the beginning, what was the goal, or what were you working with Josiah to help her with?
She was having quite a bit of difficulty separating from her foster mother to go to daycare. And she was having a lot of behavior. She was anxious. She was hitting herself, having tantrums, which seemed to be excessive and beyond the scope of what we would typically expect for somebody of her age.
Okay. And in your expertise and education, what does that indicate about a child when they are demonstrating those kind of anxious, self-harmful behaviors?
Well, she certainly seemed to appear to have some level of developmental trauma, which would be expected with a child that age or of any age who has come into the foster care system.
And is that typically associated with trauma?
Developmental trauma would imply trauma of some sort, abuse, neglect happening in the very early stages of development, sometime in the first year and beyond.
Okay.
Right.
Now, how the anxiety manifest? How has that changed since the beginning of her treatment?
In the beginning, she couldn't separate from her caregiver without extreme distress, from her foster parent without extreme distress for the first several sessions. Her foster mother needed to be present almost the entire time the first time, and then with each subsequent session, less and less we were able to fade her foster mother out so that she could come in to the playroom. She needed to check back with her foster mom on several occasions to make sure that she was still out there waiting for her. Also, she was fearful of certain toys in the playroom, rubber snakes, rubber spiders, which were obviously toys. And then there also appeared to be quite a bit of food anxiety and feeling as if she always has access to something to eat or something to drink. So there was a lot of anxiety. It appeared in her play around there being enough to eat and drink in the beginning.
Okay. And further into her treatment, I believe, was there also something noted for dysregulation by you?
Right, right. And that just means that, I mean, all children that age have temper tantrums, but a child who doesn't have developmental trauma will generally be able to co-regulate with a primary caregiver within a reasonable amount of time. And this was something that she was struggling with the extended fits that would sometimes, culminate in her injuring herself. They would be prolonged. She would be difficult to console. So those were issues in the beginning that she was having.
And those issues at the beginning, in your professional opinion, could they be caused by exposure to domestic violence?
Yes, yes.
And is it your understanding in the history of the case that there was domestic violence in the home that Josiah was raised in?
I actually didn't receive much information about what Josiah had been exposed to, and that's not uncommon when a child comes in at 2 or 3 and they can't be their own historians about those types of things. Oftentimes, unless I have a biological parent that tells me what the child has been exposed to, it's presumption.
Okay. Now, what have you observed in regards to her relationship with her foster mother?
Well, her foster mother is certainly her preferred person. That's her go-to person. I think, my impression is that everybody else she tolerates, they're not the foster mom. Even periodically, sometimes the foster mother isn't able to bring her, so sometimes her mother will bring her. And Josiah will tolerate me and like me at times, but her foster mom is her preferred person. That's the person that she's become attached to strongly.
Let me interrupt just so the record's clear. The foster mom, are we referring to the intervenor, Casey McDaniel?
Casey McDaniel, yes.
Okay, all right,
Yes.
thank you. Go ahead, Mrs. Gutierrez.
Thank you, Your Honor. And Ms. Hinders, I believe you referred to as mom bringing her to your office. Are you referring to Ms. McDaniels at that point?
Yes, yes.
How has that dysregulation improved, or are y'all still working on that?
It's not uncommon in the first several years for children to go through a period of integration and disintegration, meaning they will do fine for a while, and then because of changes taking place in the brain and within their body, they'll kind of fall apart for a while, and then they'll reintegrate and do well for a while. And so that's certainly, I've noticed that in Josiah. She was doing quite well, for after the initial seemed like she was improving and getting better for several months, but then over the summertime it seemed like she was having difficulty, or after the summertime, she seemed to have difficulty. And so she started coming back and then started to smooth out. I haven't seen her since before the holidays, but it seemed like to me, it seemed like December was a rougher month for her, or more of a period of disintegration. And that possibly could have just been due to the the month of December is overstimulating for many children. And so I haven't seen her since then, but I wondered if it wasn't due to just a lot going on in December.
Okay. Now, considering Josiah's struggle, how important is a stable environment for her?
Stability, predictability, and certainly I've seen Ms. McDaniel have to reassure her that there's a snack in the car waiting for you when we get done with the session. Here's your bottle of water. We're going to daycare next, or to school next. And so for her in particular, for all children, structure, they thrive with structure, but for Josiah in particular, it seems to help.
And hypothetically, if she were to be returned to a home, or to be in any home where there was alcohol abuse, would that compromise her safety?
Yes.
And if she were returned to a home in which there was frequent arrest or domestic violence, would that compromise the safety of the child as well?
Yes.
So I understand you can't give a direct opinion on where a child should be, but in your
Right.
opinion, is it best that she be in a safe and stable environment with predictable and stable adults?
Yes. I think even just the disruption of the month of December had an effect on her. And that's just normal disruption because, there are parties at school, schedules are changed due to this and that. Sometimes there's company coming in, going out of town, and that's predictable. So those are within the realm of, predictable types of disruption, but certainly chaos, turmoil, those would be devastating to this child.
Ask the witness.
Ms. Grant?
Ms. Hinders, have you observed any family members of the child with her?
Biological family members?
Yes, ma'am.
No, I have not.
Are you aware that there is biological family wanting to be involved with this child?
I recall a conversation, very brief conversation with Ms. McDaniel, and that might have been a month or so ago, where that might be a possibility, but I don't know anything beyond that.
Is it good for children to have family connections if it's possible?
Yes.
And is it possible to transition children back to family members once they've been in foster care?
Yes.
Would that be a possibility for Josiah at some point?
I don't know, only just because I know her and what she needs. I don't know. I don't know the environment that she would be going into.
So you would need more information. Would that be fair to say?
Yes.
And you'd need that information specific to this child and her current situation, correct?
Yes.
Would you be willing to observe interactions with biological family members in a therapeutic setting if it could begin?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to relevance.
Overruled. You can answer, Ms. Hinders.
I'm not opposed to it. I'd have to give it some thought. I've got a pretty full schedule, but yeah, I'm not opposed to that if that's what the court orders.
Okay, so it would be scheduling questions for you, not necessarily whether you're willing or not. It's a scheduling issue. Is that true?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. And if family members out of state, you'd be willing to work scheduling with them if they contacted you if the court ordered?
What I'm perceiving is a situation where, and I don't know that that's the case, but this all would be very difficult to do over Zoom if that's what we're talking about.
Understand.
Yes, and I don't even know that anything useful could come out of something over Zoom in this type of intervention.
So it would be your recommendation that it be physical visits if it were to occur?
Yes.
Thank you. Pass the witness, Judge.
All right, thank you, Ms. Lucero.
Ms. Hinders, in your experience, have you ever had a situation to where family members come into the picture and then you provide therapeutic in-person visits?
Yes.
Your Honor, I object to relevance and speculation.
Overruled.
So, Ms. Hinders, in those types of visits, when family members are brought in and reintroduced to the child, have you seen situations where the child has been able to bond with those family members?
Yes, but we would be talking once or twice a week for, some time, and we're just talking an hour. It would require time. Yeah.
Okay. It requires time.
Quality of interaction.
I understand.
You can't really do that over Zoom. It needs to be in person. Yes.
But if it's in person, it is possible, correct?
It is possible. Yes.
And you had testified earlier that you believe that it is beneficial if it's a good relationship for the child to have contact or to be around family members, correct?
Yes.
All right. I'll pass the witness.
Thank you, Ms. Oscarson.
Ms. Hinders, you testified about a gap in your treatment of Josiah when she seemed to be doing very well and then she returned back to weekly visits. Do you recall that testimony?
Yes.
Are you aware that the biological mother had been incarcerated and that when she was released from jail, visits restarted with Josiah?
No.
So are you unaware that once Josiah became dysregulated again, it was when she was having supervised visits with her mom?
Objection, it calls for facts not in evidence.
Overrule. You can answer, Ms.
Right. There may have been some conversation. Again, when I see Josiah, my time is spent mostly with her. I might have a brief word or two. And so I might have been provided an update. I don't recall. But I certainly don't have anything in my notes drawing parallels between those two, between the dates and period when she was doing well and then when she became dysregulated again.
Understanding that that evidence may or may not come in later, would you expect a child to become dysregulated again once she's exposed to a parent who may have abused or neglected her?
Yes.
Now, you testified that you observed food anxiety through Josiah's play. Did I understand your testimony correctly?
Objection,
Yes.
that mischaracterizes the testimony. The words food anxiety were not used.
I heard food anxiety, so overrule.
I would draw the objection.
Okay. Yes.
Based on your training, education, and experience, what causes a child to exhibit food anxiety through play?
It would be a fear that it's not going to be readily available when needed.
Food, you mean?
Exactly, food or drink, because there was quite a bit of needing liquid too. That was as important as the food, if not more so. Something to drink.
Is part of what you do in your sessions with Josiah is to teach her coping strategies and self-soothing and the ability to calm herself?
It's not teaching in a didactic form like a classroom. It's more experiential and it's in vivo. And so for example, as she gets to doing something and she becomes dysregulated, I'll pick up on that and we'll kind of work on calming down a little bit and then going back up. But it's not teaching in a didactic manner, if that makes sense.
Is it more modeling?
It's more co-regulation, I suppose, right? Modeling, I guess, but more co-regulation, and allowing her to expand a little bit out of her comfort zone. Because if she's always within a window of tolerance, then she's not learning how to deal with feelings outside of a window of tolerance. So it's allowing a little bit of expansion, but not so much so that she becomes completely dysregulated. So it's difficult to explain, but more co-regulation, I would think, than modeling.
So outside the therapy session, what kind of adults, what is the demeanor of an adult that Josiah needs to be around considering her past trauma?
She needs to be around someone who's calm much of the time and who is predictable and who can flow with her, meet her where she is, and then once she meets her where she is, then bring her to where she needs to be. That's what the co-regulation is, because children aren't born knowing how to regulate themselves. They're first entirely regulated by a primary caregiver under optimal situations. Then they learn to co-regulate with the caregiver, and then after that they learn to regulate on their own. But they can't regulate on their own if they've never been at first regulated by somebody else and then co-regulated with somebody. And so that's what I see in my interactions with Miss McDaniel, because Josiah is prone to an immediate tantrum over the way that her shoes feel on her feet, or not having this or not having that. And so a caregiver has to be pretty regulated to begin with to be able to meet a child in that state calm them in the moment and then bring them up to a more regulated state.
Have you observed Miss McDaniel's ability to do that?
Yes. Yes, she does that quite well. Mhm.
Based on what you have observed in play therapy, is it your opinion that Giselle was not in an environment with caregivers who were able to help her co-regulate prior to her removal?
She certainly,
Objection, she testified that she's never observed Josiah with any other person.
Ms. Hinders, if it would be speculation, then you can't answer that.
she did not come to me with any signs that she could co-regulate. Right. That she had learned that before.
That she had not learned that before. Is that what you
That's
say?
right. That's right.
I pass the witness.
All right, thank you. Ms. Wiggins.
Now, Ms. Hinders, you talked a little bit about the child, I guess, not doing well potentially on Zoom calls. Is that correct?
Yes.
If she was introduced to a new person on a Zoom call, would that be beneficial to the child or harmful to the child?
I'm sure it would be confusing to the child and to this particular child, and she's not going to maintain interest for more than a minute or two, is my prediction.
So there would be no benefit in introducing someone via Zoom for the
Objection, speculation.
Let her ask her question first. Go ahead, Ms. Wiggins.
Based on your training and experience with, and specifically dealing with this child, given her past history, would it be beneficial to introduce a new person to this child via Zoom?
There's not going to be a bond that's going to be built over Zoom. Somebody over Zoom could be somebody on the TV to her, and she's not going to really understand the difference. She can't build a bond with somebody over Zoom.
And would it be potentially harmful to introduce someone to a child and then suddenly take them away? And I guess I'll rephrase. Would it be more beneficial with a child who's having regulation issues to have consistent people in her life?
Yes.
And so if someone could potentially be an inconsistent person, would that be a benefit to the child?
I'm not understanding your question.
So if the child was introduced to someone and then that person went from her life, would that be more harmful, or should she be focusing on more consistent individuals?
Well, I think it would be dependent on the strength of the bond that she had with that person. I would imagine that people kind of come and go in Josiah's life. If this were somebody she had a strong attachment to that she no longer had access to, that would be difficult for her. And if she thought that this was a person that was taking her away from stability, that would be difficult for her.
And just to clarify, she is 3.5 years old. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the foster mother or placement has had her since July of 2023. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so would you say that the child has created a very strong attachment to placement?
Yes.
And in regards to, let's see, you said that once or twice a week, a transition to a family would have to be very intense. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you said once or twice a week how long are we talking for a child that's 3.5?
I don't know. It depends on the child.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll pass the witness, Judge.
All right, thank you. Anyone else have follow-ups for Ms. Hinders?
Just one, Judge.
Go ahead.
Ms. Hinders, are you aware of the order in which CPS is likely to consider permanency for a child, be it with biological parents, family members, or unrelated adoption?
I don't think so.
Pass the witness.
Anyone else?
I have a question, Your Honor. Based on what you have observed with Josiah and with Miss McDaniel. In your opinion, would it be harmful to Josiah to remove her from Miss McDaniel's care?
Objection, Your Honor. This witness cannot testify as to possession and access of child.
Ms. Sanders, that's your call. That's a professional call. If you professionally can't answer it, then don't answer it.
What I would say is that with her foster mother, for the most part, she has seemed to move from a very insecure attachment pattern to a more secure attachment pattern, meaning she has an internalized sense of her foster mother, and is getting to the place in the very beginning. If she didn't have access to her, she didn't exist, and that was terrifying. And now she's able to separate because she knows, most of the time, she knows that her foster mother is going to be available to her. She's going to come back. She's going to be available to her, and so this child has developed mental trauma. So I'm not saying that has a secure attachment, but she's getting there. She's making progress and internalizing a permanent person inside of her, that she knows will be there and will be available even if she's not within direct sight of her.
Thank you. Pass the witness.
All right, anyone else?
One more, Your Honor.
Go ahead.
Ms. Hinders, can those type of attachments be grown and nurtured with other people as well as therapy develops with this child?
Yes.
So you're not testifying that the foster mother is the only person that this child can ever be attached to. Is that true?
True. Correct.
Pass the witness.
All right, anyone else? All right, may Ms. Hinders be excused?
You may, Your
No
Honor.
objection.
All right, Ms. Hinders, thank you for your testimony. I'll
Yes.
remove you so you can go about your day's business.
Thank you.
Uh-huh. All right, Ms. Gutierrez, next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The department next calls Alexis Valenzuela as its witness.
Gutierrez, all right.
Thank you, Your Honor. Before I start questioning Ms. Valenzuela, I would like to offer petitioner's exhibit number 24. It is a incident report done by a certified police officer, and it is from a report on, looks like July 14th of 2023.
Okay, objections?
No objection.
All right, petitioner's
No
24.
objection.
Petitioner's 24 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Alexis, who do you work for?
I work for the Department of Family and Protective Services.
And what do you do for them?
I'm an investigator with the department.
And how long have you been with the department for?
Just over 3.5 years.
And were you working for them in August of 2023?
I was.
And I'm actually going to backtrack a little bit. It was during the year, all of 2023, you worked for them, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. And did you receive an intake regarding a Layla Holman?
I did.
What was the date of that intake
June 2nd.
of 2023?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what is the name of the child that was involved in that intake?
Josiah.
And at the time of that intake, had Ms. Holman identified the father?
I had an alleged father, yes.
Okay, who was the alleged father?
Isaiah Cabello.
All right. So what were those intake allegations specifically?
The intake allegations that we received were concerns of domestic violence and heavy alcohol use. There was also concerns with the living conditions that Alayla was residing in with Josiah.
And regarding the domestic violence, did that intake identify the person they were alleging the domestic violence was with?
Yes, it was between Alayla and Amia Holman.
And is Amia Ms. Holman's sister?
Yes.
Great. Now, based on receiving that intake, did you start your investigation?
I did. I was called out that same night.
Okay. And did you make attempts to contact the child through her mother?
I did.
And it looks like per your affidavit, you spoke with Alayla Holman on June 5th of 2023. Is that correct?
I spoke with her, yes, and then I made face-to-face contact with her on the 7th.
And what was discussed over the phone on June 5th of 2023?
We had briefly discussed the allegations, and I was told by Alayla that the fighting was not with her and her sister. And she told me that there was a get together and there was a male present at the get together that she was at, that as she put hands on her.
And did she claim that Josiah was not home when that incident took place?
Yes, she told me Josiah was with the babysitter.
And then when you met in person with Alayla on June 7th, did you further discuss the allegations?
We did, yes.
And what did Alayla say?
She again told me that, she was hit, that this male, as she put hands on her when they were at a get together. She spoke about, being on probation, and she knew that she was not supposed to drink alcohol or use marijuana. We discussed the conditions of her probation. She again told me that Josiah was with the babysitter. When we spoke about the concerns of domestic violence between her and Amia, she told me that they were just sister fights, and now her and her sister were getting along better.
Now, during that time frame, early in the investigation, where was Alayla living?
My understanding is she was living at several different places. The initial home, that was a concern. By the time I'd gotten out there and made contact, I was told by the members that were living in that house that Alayla was not living there.
So it looks like your June 7th in-person interview was at a grandmother's house. Is that correct?
Yes.
And then when you spoke with Alayla Holman on June 20th, 2023, where had she moved to?
She had moved to a different home with her sister.
And did she indicate which sister that was?
That was Amia Holman.
And is that the sister that was identified in law enforcement as somebody she had domestic violence with?
Yes.
Now, and as part of your investigation, did you review law enforcement reports?
I did, yes.
And did those appear to involve alcohol and domestic violence as well?
Yes.
And then fast forwarding to June 18th, 2023, you spoke with Alayla Holman again, is that correct?
On June 18th?
Oh, sorry, July 18th of 2023.
Yes, I did.
And where was Ms. Holman when you spoke with her in person?
She was at Randall County Jail. She was incarcerated.
And did you discuss the events that led to her arrest?
Yes, we did.
And what did she state?
She stated she was out at a bar for her sister Amia's birthday. She told me that she was arrested for public intoxication.
And in that conversation, did you discuss the possibility of working a family-based safety services case with her?
Yes, we did. We discussed services.
And can you explain for the court or for the record what the family-based safety services program is?
Yes. So family-based services, we typically refer parents out to services within the community. We do that to try and prevent removals. Typically, with this case, if there's a safety concern, we would ask the parent to be supervised before we can safely refer the case to services.
And is that the conversation you were having with Alayla, asking about possible 24-hour supervision?
Yes, that was also something that we discussed.
And did she identify potential family members for that?
She did.
Let's see. And in that conversation as well, did you ask her who the father of Josiah was?
Yes, I did.
And what was Ms. Holman's response?
She did become upset when I asked her for that information. She stood up from her chair. She still had the phone in her hand. She told me that this conversation was going to make her mad. She asked why we needed that information. And then she began screaming and crying, and she left the room.
Now, at that point, were you able to continue the conversation about a possible safety plan to help prevent removal?
No.
But even so, you did interview the parents that she had proposed. Is that correct?
I did, yes.
And were there concerns with Josiah's parents? Apologies. Were there concerns with Alayla's parents as supervisors?
Yes.
And specifically, did they have CPS history that kind of ruled them out as supervisors?
Yes, as well. They were not able to supervise 24/7 like the department was requesting.
And as well, had they bonded Alayla's sister Amaya out of jail?
Yes, they did.
And was it your understanding was that their plan was to use Amaya as Josiah's babysitter?
Yes.
And did that cause you alarm?
Yes, it did.
And so at that time, did it become your understanding that Amaya Holman was actually in possession of Josiah?
Yes, she was.
And did the department determine at that time that removal of the child was necessary?
Yes, we did.
Can you please describe the department's reasonable efforts to help prevent removal?
Yes, so that was us discussing a safety plan with Alayla. We also looked at different, we explored family options, of course, the options that she gave us. Unfortunately, at that time, we didn't feel like there was any appropriate caregiver for Josiah.
And was it necessary to remove the child due to the immediate danger of the domestic violence and alcohol situation, not only with her mother, but with her other family members?
Yes.
And a parent-child safety placement would not have been feasible, and in fact was with no approved caregiver. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, Ms. Valenzuela, do you have access to your affidavit in support of removal?
I do, yes.
So at the time when removal was determined, is it correct that the department did not have the name of the alleged father yet?
At the time we filed the affidavit for removal?
Yes. Yes.
Sorry, I'm looking. Right, that's correct. I have the father listed as unknown at the time that I filed the affidavit for removal.
And with an unknown father, you're not able to evaluate him as an alternative to removal. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
As well as an unknown father, you're not able to evaluate him as a placement. Is that correct?
Yes.
And the only information you had at this time was Alayla's response. Alayla's response to you asking about him. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, following the removal, you prepared an investigative report. Is that correct?
Yes.
And by that time, you had a name and Ms. Holman had given you a name. Is that correct?
I believe we were able to find the name through a child support order.
And if there were no child support orders, do you mean you would obtain the name from the Office of Attorney General?
Yes.
Okay. And you obtained contact information from him for him, is that correct?
Yes.
Now, when you spoke with him, what did he say in regards to whether or not he had any communication with Alayla?
Excuse me, before we go any further, can we identify who that person was, the name?
Apologies. What was the name of that person?
I'm sorry.
What was the name of the alleged father?
Isaiah Cabello.
Okay, thank you.
And what did Mr. Cabello say about whether or not he spoke to Alayla?
He told me that he does not speak to Alayla or Josiah, and he was not sure if he was the father.
And when you explained that the department had taken custody of Josiah, how did he respond?
He again told me that, he was not sure he was the father, or that Alayla told him he wasn't the father. And so when I explained that, he was listed as a parent, he told me that he was never provided a letter from the sheriff's office, and that there had never been any DNA testing done. So I did explain to him that DNA testing was an option.
And what did he say in response to the idea of DNA testing?
He asked why DNA testing was needed if he did not want anything to do with this case.
And then you spoke with him again, on July 24th. Is that correct?
Yes.
That was 2023. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you explained to him that if he was found to be the child's father, that he would be asked to work services. Is that correct?
Yes.
And did you ask him if he wanted Josiah in his care?
I did not ask.
Okay, so if your investigative report indicates that you asked if he wanted Josiah in his care, would that be correct?
That would be correct, yes.
And if I may point you for you to refresh your memory to, let me see which page this is, to page 3, the top of page 3 of your investigative report. And for the other attorneys, this is a filing in the case that everybody should have access to, but if anybody needs me to email it to them, I can do so. Okay. Have you found that, Ms. Valenzuela?
Yes, ma'am. I'm looking at it right now.
And what was Mr. Gavello's response when you asked him if he wanted Josiah in his care?
So from what I'm looking at, he told me that he was in between places, but he would provide me with an address to send paperwork.
Okay, so he basically didn't answer whether or not he wanted Josiah. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, fast forwarding to August 2nd of 2023, you had a conversation with Josiah's foster parent. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And what did you observe about Josiah in that conversation?
And when I spoke with the foster parent, I was told that Josiah was having
Objection, hearsay.
Your Honor, foster parent is here as a party to the case.
If she's here and available to testify, then you can answer the question.
You can answer, Ms. Valenzuela.
That Josiah was having temper tantrums. There was a time where she tried to headbutt the foster parent when the case manager was present.
Did she also describe the child as picking at her own eyelashes, scratching her face?
Yes, and biting her nails as well.
I pass the witness.
All right, thank you, Ms. Grant.
No questions, Judge.
Ms. Lucero.
I'm sorry, Judge, one question.
Okay.
Did either parent name any preferred caregivers at the time of removal?
I believe Alayla provided an aunt.
Was that aunt investigated to your knowledge?
I'm not too sure.
Pass the witness.
All right, Ms. Lucero.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Valenzuela, so in reviewing your affidavit of removal and also the investigative report, would you agree with me that Mr. Cabello was a non-offending parent at the time of removal?
Yes.
Okay. And according to your testimony, he had advised you that he hadn't had any contact with Ms. Holman for quite a while. Isn't that true?
Yes.
And just to be clear, he had advised you that Ms. Holman had told him at one point that Josiah was not his. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
All right, thank you, Ms. Oscarson.
Ms. Valenzuela, can you describe the first alleged residence of Alayla?
Unfortunately, no, ma'am, I cannot. The home members that were living in that home did not let me look at the house, so I'm not sure what the conditions were.
Your order indicates that it was a shed. From outside of it, could you tell whether it was a house or a shed?
It was in the back of the house. Yes, I could tell that it was a shed from outside.
While you were involved in the investigation phase of this case, did Alayla ever have a house to your knowledge?
No.
Pass the witness.
All right, thank you, Ms. Wiggins.
And Ms. Valenzuela, where was the alleged father when you had your conversation with him?
I believe we were speaking over the phone. I did not make face-to-face contact with him.
Okay. Did he cooperate with you in trying to have face-to-face contact, or did you request that?
My first attempt was out at a house, and I was unsuccessful with that. And so thereafter, we were speaking over the phone.
Okay. And when you had that conversation with foster mom about the child having issues, that you said that was late July, is that correct?
That would have been August 2nd.
August 2nd. Okay. Nothing further, Judge.
All right, any follow-ups for Ms. Valenzuela?
Your Honor, I have just one,
Okay.
or maybe a couple. Ms. Valenzuela, on your, let's see here, your, I guess it's your investigative report there on August the 2nd. You're saying Angela provided me with pictures of Josiah from the pool party she attended. Who is Angela?
That would have been the foster parent.
And do you recall that foster parent's last name? I guess because the foster parent I have listed now was Casey McDaniel. Is that a middle name for her, or do you know, or was that a different foster parent?
That would have been a different foster parent. That would have been initial. I do not recall her name, her last name.
Your Honor, that would renew my objection on the hearsay earlier as to which foster parent she was referring to in her hearsay testimony.
Which foster parent were you testifying to earlier? Miss McDaniel or the first foster mother?
That would have been the first foster mother.
Okay, then I'll sustain the objection and I'll ignore the testimony.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
That's all I had, Your Honor. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
Well, that's all you had? Ms.
Yes, Your
Lucero?
Honor.
Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, anyone else have further questions for Ms. Valenzuela?
I did, Your Honor, Judge.
Okay, go ahead.
Did you want to go in order?
No, we don't have to go in order. I heard you first, Ms. Wiggins. Go ahead.
Okay. Ms. Valenzuela, when you become familiar with a alleged father's name, do you investigate them through CPS?
We do. We look at CPS and criminal history.
And did Isaiah have CPS history?
He did, yes.
And did he have a reason to believe, which would be a validation of abuse or neglect made by the department against him?
From what I can see here, I have been unable to determine for physical abuse.
Okay. Referring to July 21st, it says, I viewed the department history for Cabello.
Yes.
Can you review that paragraph, please?
Yes. So he was validated for neglectful supervision in July 2022.
Okay. And was
Your
that
Honor, I'm going to
paragraph?
object to relevance to this case. This was occurring in, I guess, 2023. So I'm going to object to relevance.
And Judge,
Overruled.
now, Ms. Valenzuela, when you consider a alleged father for potential placement, is it important to understand his past history?
Yes, it is.
And while in your investigation, he was, I guess, Ms. Lucero used the non-offending parent terminology. However, the background information of the father would determine whether or not he's a safe placement. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so had he been willing to take the child, would you still have taken in consideration his past history?
Yes.
Nothing further.
All right, someone else have further questions?
I have another question, Your Honor. Ms.
Go ahead.
Valenzuela, thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Valenzuela, even without the criminal history, since he wasn't the adjudicated father, could y'all have placed Isaiah with Mr. Cabello or not?
I cannot make that decision. I would have had to staff that up with my supervisor and the program director. That would have, had to be staffed all the way up given his history.
Okay, I'm not talking about his history. I'm just talking about that he wasn't the adjudicated father. He was just the alleged father at that point. Can the department place a child with an alleged father?
I do not believe so.
Okay, I'll pass the witness.
Anyone else? All right, then, can Ms. Valenzuela be excused?
Before she's excused, Your Honor, I'd like to go ahead and offer some exhibits.
Okay,
The department offers petitioners exhibit number 2. And let's see, how can I abbreviate this? I don't think I can. It is a complaint against Alayla Holman in cause number 2022-5395-2 for DWI,
objections?
certified copy.
No objection.
Objection.
Petitioners 2 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Next, I offer petitioners exhibit number 3, the judgment related to exhibit 2, which is a judgment of conviction and a sentencing to 10 days in Randall County Jail. Again, a certified copy, and this is regarding Alayla Holman.
Objections?
No objection.
Objection.
Petitioners 3 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. I next offer an indictment, a certified copy of an indictment, and 082875-D-CR for assault of a peace officer against Alayla Holman.
What exhibit number is it?
This one is, let me see, number 4.
Okay, objections?
No objection.
All right, petitioners 4 is admitted.
I next offer petitioners exhibit number 5, an order of deferred adjudication related to number 4 with a judgment of guilt and placing her on deferred adjudication.
Objections?
No objection.
Objection.
Okay, 5 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. I next offer petitioners exhibit number 6, a motion to proceed with adjudication on that same charge.
Objections?
No objection.
No objection.
Petitioner 6 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I next offer petitioners exhibit number 7. And I believe, let's see, it starts with a warrant, but the second page is a report of probation violation.
Objections?
No objection.
No objection.
All right, petitioner 7 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Let me see. I next call Jenny Rankin.
Let's take about a 5-minute break before we get to our next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Miss Rankin, do you know Alayla Holman?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you know her?
I supervise her on adult probation.
And so you're her probation officer. Is that correct? Is that correct?
Yes.
When did that start?
She started probation actually on, sorry. She started probation on April 24th, 2023, and then I took over supervision of the client in February of 2024.
And since you've had Alayla do you refer to them as clients?
Client, yes, ma'am.
Since you've had her as a client, how has her compliance been with you?
She's not in compliance.
Okay. I noticed there was a motion to revoke filed in Potter County back in August of 2023. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. That was the first motion to revoke.
Okay. Has there been another one since then?
There is one that's currently in the process. It's waiting to be sent to the DA's office.
And while you have had her as a client, how has her home stability been?
She doesn't have any.
How so?
She will stay at her sister's, until there is a fight or something break out, and then she will leave and go stay somewhere else until she gets kicked out from there. She's had several different residents, throughout her duration of probation in the last 2 years almost. And I currently do not know where she's staying, as she was trespassed from her last known address.
And that last known address, was that with one of her sisters?
Yes.
Do you recall which sister?
I believe it was Nessa's house over on Echo.
Okay. And approximately when did that occur, if you have the month and year?
That on when she was kicked out, or the most recent time?
The most recent, the trespass you mentioned.
That was on December 26th, 2024.
Okay. Has there been an occasion with Alayla Holman presented herself to your office with injuries?
Yes, ma'am.
And could you tell me approximately when that occurred?
Yes, on July 29th, she reported to my office, and she attempted to have it covered up, and she did admit to it actually being a black eye and getting into a fight whenever I addressed it with her.
Did she give you any details on the fight?
She claimed that it was a girlfriend who her boyfriend became assaultive with her, and Layla claimed that she was trying to help her friend.
Now, approximately how many occasions, according to your conversations with Alayla, how many occasions has Miss Holman been in a fight that she has told you about since you took over?
As far as just like a physical fight, to my knowledge, it was just this last time. There's been disagreements and fights reported amongst the sisters. Or I believe the younger sister, not Neth, but the other one.
Would that be Amaya?
Yes.
Okay. So at this point, you mentioned that Ms. Holman, you are in the process of working on a motion to revoke probation. Can you please identify her violations that you plan to include in that motion?
Okay, I got the camera. Sorry.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Her question was, what allegations are contained in the current motion to revoke on?
In the current motion, it is going to be her arrest, her failure to follow through with substance abuse treatment. Let me get that pulled up. Her failure to follow through with substance abuse treatment. And then there was an alcohol use that she admitted to. I'm trying to get hers pulled up. Okay. The public intoxication. She admitted to consuming alcohol 3 times from July 24th to August the 4th. And then again on the alcohol use that was listed in the police report on December 26th. And then her failure to complete inpatient treatment as directed.
All right, thank you.
Apologies. Your Honor, did you have a question or may I proceed?
You can proceed.
Thank you. Now, Ms. Rankin, you mentioned an arrest. How many times has she been arrested while being a client of yours for probation?
She's been arrested 1 time.
And was that in December of 2024?
Yes, ma'am.
And you mentioned that that was a public intoxication arrest.
Yes, ma'am.
Since that arrest, has she reported to you?
No, ma'am.
And she's required to make you aware of where she's residing, is that correct?
Correct.
And has she done so?
No, she hasn't. The last address, and I'm not sure if this is even a good address, but I have 20.
Now,
I think that was the cousin's house that she got kicked out from and then went to her sister's, and it hasn't been updated.
Now, you mentioned alcohol use and including it as a violation. So alcohol consumption for her is a violation of her probation. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And is it correct to say that that would be a violation all the way since she was placed on probation in April of 2023?
Yes.
Is it an accurate statement to say she has continuously violated that prohibition against alcohol consumption since she began probation then?
Yes, ma'am.
Ask the witness.
Ms. Grant,
No questions, Judge.
Ms. Lucero,
No questions.
Ms. Oscarson,
Mr. Rankin, do you know if Ms. Holman is found to be in violation of her probation? Do you know whether she faces jail time?
The recommendation the recommendation is for ISF, since it was a Class C misdemeanor she was arrested for. I recommended that she go to an intermediate sanctions facility to address her substance abuse, which is a 90-day lockdown facility, with wait time in the county jail until bed opens up. The judge could just revoke her. It could go either way, but that's the probation's recommendation.
If the judge just revoke her probation, what is the sentence likely to be?
I don't know what this was in lieu of, but it's a second-degree felony, so it would be a minimum.
Objection calls for speculation at this point.
well, she can testify to we don't know what the judge is going to do, Ms. Rankin, but what is the offense? What level?
It's a second-degree felony,
Okay, thank
and
you.
I believe that carries a minimum of 5 years to 20, I believe.
All right, thank you.
Don't quote me on that. I'm not.
I'll just disregard that as speculation.
Okay, thank you.
All right. The arrest on 12/26/24, you also mentioned that Ms. Holman was trespassed from her sister Ness's house on that same date. Are those incidents related?
To what?
Do you know what was going on at Ness's house on 12/26/24 that resulted in Ms. Holman being arrested for public intoxication?
Per the police report, it was noted the police were called earlier in the day to a domestic violence dispute between Alayla and a gentleman. I'm not sure, he's probably listed in the police report that I can look up if needed. And so nothing took place at that time as Alayla was not cooperative with law enforcement. The police then got called to Ness's house later that evening due to a domestic violence situation between the sisters. And when the police showed up, they just wanted Alayla to leave the home, but she did not have anywhere to go and she became belligerent.
Okay, so on December 26th, do I understand correctly that there were two separate domestic violence incidences that Ms. Holman was involved in?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
In addition to her being uncooperative and combative with police, is that correct?
Yes.
Pass the witness.
All right, thank you, Miss. Where are we at? Miss Wiggins?
Thank you, Judge. I'd ask that the court take judicial notice of the Texas Penal Code, Section 1233. It is the second-degree punishment range statute.
Okay, what is it? I don't have
2 to 20.
Okay, thank you.
No objection.
I haven't looked at a Texas Penal Code in 13 years.
It is 2 to 20, up to a $10,000 fine.
Thank you.
And I have nothing further, Judge.
Okay. Anyone else have further questions for Ms. Rankin?
I do, Your Honor. Ms. Rankin, is Ms. Holman on probation for her charge of assault against an officer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Your Honor, I would bring the court's attention to petitioner's exhibit number 5 and ask that the court take judicial notice that the sentence was for 3 years.
Okay, so noted.
Is that correct, Courtney?
I don't have it. Was it probated or is that 3 years deferred adjudication?
Well, it says 3 years deferred, period of deferred adjudication, community supervision, 3 years.
Okay, and if you refer to the Texas Penal Code, deferred adjudication leaves open the whole punishment range. So a judge can look from 2 to 20.
Thank you.
Anything further, Ms. Gutierrez?
Not for this witness, Your Honor.
All right, anyone else have further questions for Ms. Rankin?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Ms.
No,
Rankin,
Judge.
thank you for your testimony. I'll remove you so you can go about your afternoon's business.
Okay, thank you, sir. Y'all have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, Ms. Gutierrez, next witness.
The department next calls Amy Prater.
Ms. Gutierrez?
Thank you, Your Honor. Amy, are you the former caseworker for Layla Holman?
I am.
And at that time you worked for St. Francis Ministries, is that correct?
Yes.
And were you the original caseworker assigned to Ms. Holman at St. Francis?
Yes, I was assigned at removal.
And up to when did you leave St. Francis?
January 10th of 2025.
So up until last week, Friday, you were Ms. Holman's caseworker, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. Now, as a caseworker, can you inform the court of what your duties are?
My duties are to assess the parents for needs, to mitigate the reasons for removal, and assign appropriate services in hopes to mitigate that risk for removal, as well as to assist the parent in any needs or anything going on that would help them to be reunified with the child.
And do you help connect them with services?
I do.
And what do some of those actions look like?
Some of them look like referrals. Some of them look like following recommendations and submitting referrals upon those recommendations, as well as checking for compliance with organizations such as therapy or probation.
And throughout the case, did Ms. Holman have your contact information?
She did.
And was one of your duties as a caseworker to speak or meet with her monthly?
Yes.
And did you make attempts every month to do so?
Yes, if I did not meet with her, face-to-face attempts were made.
And you had those same obligations to the alleged father at that time at the beginning, Isaiah Cabello, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you tell us about creating a service plan?
Yes, ma'am. In the beginning of a case at the time of removal, we'd immediately start beginning assessments with those parents, such as parent stress indexes, family strengths and needs assessments, things like that, which direct us in our referrals in our service plan.
And is that to help identify the most important areas that parents need help with?
Yes.
And did you go through that process for this case regarding Layla Holman and Isaiah Cabello?
Assessments were completed with Layla. Assessments were not completed with Isaiah due to his inability to be located.
And can you tell us about your efforts to attempt to locate him when you first became the caseworker?
Yes, ma'am. In August of 2023, when the case was transferred to me, I did run an accurate search to gain an address for Mr. Cabello. It came back with his primary address, the same as his father's, Guillermo Cabello.
And did you make physical visits to that home at the beginning of the case?
Several, yes, ma'am.
And does that include a visit prior to the status hearing?
Yes.
And was the purpose of that visit an intent to do that evaluation and to help him create a service plan?
Yes.
And can you tell us about that attempt? Was it successful?
No, ma'am.
Did anybody answer the door?
Not at that visit, but prior to the status hearing, no.
Okay. Did you leave any contact information at the door for yourself?
Yes, ma'am. I left my card attached to the screen door of the home.
Okay. All right, so let's take a look at petitioner's exhibit number 22. Your Honor, we offer petitioner's exhibit number 22, a certified copy of the status hearing order as evidence.
No objection.
Petitioner's 22 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Ms. Prater, you created family plans of service for both Layla and Isaiah, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And were they reasonably tailored to the issues in the case?
Yes.
Did they aim to mitigate the reasons for removal?
Yes.
As well, can you identify 2 to 3 services that were unique to Layla?
Yes. Initially, we had referred her to the Women Against Violence program or the WAVE program. She did not meet criteria for that one, so we did ask the court to order her to go to anger management, as well as rational behavioral therapy. She was also asked to be compliant in her probation and attend individual therapy.
Okay. In regards to Isaiah Gavello, what issues were you aware of that were serious for him?
There were several arrests with Mr. Cabello regarding family violence, dating back a couple of years prior to my case. So we did ask that he be referred to Batterers Intervention or the Batterers Intervention Program, or BIP. When I went out his last known residence several times, I could smell marijuana coming from the street from that house. So I did refer him to drug screening and OSAR assessments.
Thank you. And were those family plans of service made an order of the court at the status hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Ms. Prater, if you could please go ahead and flip back to, I think it starts about page 10 in the PDF of Exhibit 22. And is that the family plan of service for Alayla Holman?
Yes.
Can you please briefly identify each service and discuss whether or not it was completed?
Communication with the department was sporadic throughout the life of the case. Income and verification. This one, again, was also sporadic. Alayla was only legally employed for about 2 months of the case. She did never provide me with verification of her employment, though. Visitation, several times, Alayla was non-compliant with visitation. Her child caregiver resource form was completed initially through the case in July. Probation, she was non-compliant with the parameters of her probation. Her home environment, again, was sporadically appropriate throughout the life of the case. Since Alayla was released from incarceration, she was living with her sisters, who she quite a few times had physical altercations with. Alayla did sign releases of information for her providers. And again, communication was sporadic. Her parenting classes, she did not begin. She was referred to several different parenting classes. She was non-compliant with drug screening on several occasions. She did complete a psychosocial evaluation through Jennings Counseling initially when she began therapy. Individual counseling, I believe she completed 2 or 3 sessions with Jennings Counseling and then was discharged due to no call, no shows. She was referred to Melissa Lawson, but never began therapy with her. And she never began RT, or this plan has WAVE on there. She did attempt to get into WAVE, but was turned away from WAVE due to her arrest records.
And is that the end of her services?
At this service plan, yes. I believe this plan was filed at the initial beginning of the case.
Now, in regards to that service plan, do you consider that Ms. Holman completed her service plan?
No.
Now, as far as visitation, what were some concerns with Alayla's visitation with Josiah?
Alayla would constantly attempt to have other people in her visit, as well as calling other people to FaceTime with Josiah. Kind of needed other people as a buffer. We did open up visitation to family at some point, but we did pull back on that rule because Alayla was having about 10 to 12 different people in her visitations and wasn't with Josiah at all.
Now, were there occasions where she would, not show up to visits.
Yes.
Can you tell me about those?
Initially in the case, Alayla would not, she would call and confirm the visit, but she would not show up. She was incarcerated for about 5 months in this case. And then after her incarceration, her participation got a lot better. About 2 or 3 months prior to my leaving St. Francis, Alayla did start having issues with attending visits. At one point, she texted our family support worker that monitors the visits and said that she was on her way, she was coming, she was going to be a little bit late. Ultimately, she was over 45 minutes late and that visit was canceled. We did start implementing a rule that Alayla arrive 30 minutes prior to the visitation time due to her showing up late.
Were there occasions where she cut visitation off early?
Yes.
Can you tell me about those?
There were a few occasions. The one that comes directly to mind is that her sister, who was present in the visitation at one point, was not feeling well or had to go somewhere. So Alayla did cancel the visit with her daughter. Or not cancel, she left the visit early.
And how did Josiah, or let me ask a different question. Did Josiah ever show a reaction to any of these?
Yes.
Which ones did she show a reaction to?
Quite a few of them. Probably the most dramatic one was the time that Alayla arrived, or that there was 45 minutes Alayla hadn't shown up before the visit was canceled. Josiah became very emotionally dysregulated and cried and screamed for about an hour, hour and a half.
In regards to communication with you, Ms. Prater, has Ms. Holman, what problems have you had in communicating with Ms. Holman?
Here recently, she would text me or call me from random numbers. And towards the end of my involvement with this case, she would text me from random numbers, as well as not leaving me voice messages saying it's her or what she needed or anything like that, as well as there being multiple different phone numbers for her.
And what statements has she made regarding her willingness to communicate with you?
That she's not willing to communicate with us anymore, to not look for her, not show up at her house anymore, that she was done working with St. Francis.
And when did she start making those statements?
The initial one, I believe, was in July of 2024, after there was an issue with marijuana in the home when I did an unannounced visit. This latest one was in November of 2024 as well.
Now, what statements has she said regarding her willingness to work services to have Josiah back in her home?
That she's not willing to work services.
Can you tell me about that conversation?
It was through a text with Alayla that she wasn't working her services anymore and that she was done.
And approximately when did that conversation occur?
That was in November of 2024.
Now, Alayla as well during this case had another baby, is that correct?
Yes.
And approximately when was that baby born?
In May of 2024.
And did that baby remain in her home for several months?
Yes.
Were you still concerned as well for Josiah and the baby?
Yes.
And how many investigations was Alayla involved with regarding the new baby?
To my knowledge, 3.
And to your knowledge at this time, is that baby now living with his father?
I don't know.
Okay. So you're unaware of where that infant is at this time, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, the department offers petitioners exhibit number 8. It is a certified copy of a complaint against Isaiah Gavello. And it is, let's see here, out of Swisher County, Texas.
What's it for?
Possession of a controlled substance, but greater than 4 grams, but less than 28 grams.
All right, objections?
No objection.
All right, petitioner's 8 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. The department offers petitioners exhibit number 9, an order deferring judgment and granting community supervision. And this is related to number 8, exhibit number 8. It is a certified copy.
Objections? All right, petitioner's 9 is admitted.
And Judge, Ms. Gutierrez, can you indicate when the offense was committed on petitioner's exhibit 8? I don't have a copy, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. That's right. This would have gone to Harry because I sent them early on. Let me see here. Your Honor, we request that the court take notice that the offense day was on or about August 28th of 2020.
All right, so noted.
Thank you. And I'm going to take a minute and forward these to Ms. Wiggins, Your Honor.
Okay.
I was in the process of offering number 9. I cannot recall whether or not it was entered.
I believe I did. No, Mrs. Taylor says I didn't. So any objections to 9? All right, petitioner's 9 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. The department next offers petitioners number 10 a motion to proceed with an adjudication of guilt, and that same charge is number 8.
All right, objections?
No objection.
All right, petitioner's 10 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Department next offers petitioners number 11 order modifying terms of community supervision.
All right, objections?
No objection.
All right, petitioner's 11 is admitted.
Thank you. The department next offers petitioners exhibit number 12, cause number 31878B against Isaiah Gavel for count 1, assault of a family member with previous conviction, and count 2, obstruction or retaliation. And the date of the offense is January of 2020. Okay, hold on, Your Honor. I apologize. It's November 16th of 2021.
All right, objections?
No
Petitioner's 12
objection.
is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. The department next offers petitioners exhibit number 13, judgment adjudicating guilt on count 1.
All right, objections?
No objection.
Petitioner's 13 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. The department next offers petitioners 14, judgment adjudicating guilt on count 2.
Objections?
No objection.
All right, petitioner's 14 admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Department next offers petitioners exhibit 15 and cause number 082895-E-CR out of Potter County. Again, it is a certified copy against Isaiah Guillermo Cabello, and this is for the offense of evading arrest with a vehicle.
Is this finding of guilt, or I didn't hear a complaint of guilt?
I don't have a complaint on this one, Your Honor. I
Okay.
do have,
So this is an adjudication of guilt
yes, Your Honor.
for evading arrest?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Objections?
No objection.
Okay, petitioner's 15 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Department next offers petitioners exhibit number 16, an indictment and cause number 084776-E-CR. Let me see. This is out of Potter County as well against Isaiah Cabello.
4.
And this is for evading arrest with a vehicle.
Okay, objection?
No objection.
All right, petitioner 16.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Admitted.
I next ask that the court take notice that in petitioner's exhibit 16, it identifies the crime as having been done intentionally.
So noted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Department next offers petitioners exhibit 17, the judgment related to number 16 against Isaiah Guillermo Cabello.
All right, objection?
No objection.
Okay, petitioner 17 is admitted.
Department next offers petitioners 18, an indictment against Isaiah Cabello and cause number 084480 in Potter County for the charge of assault, family violence.
Okay, objections?
No objection.
All right, petitioner's 18 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Department next offers petitioners exhibit number 19, the judgment related to number 18, Your Honor.
All right, objection.
No objection.
Petitioners 19 is admitted.
The department next offers petitioners number 20. This is a printout from the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. It is a government maintained website with inmate search results, Your Honor, showing that his maximum sentence date is January 26th of 2028.
Okay.
And
Objection. I'm sorry, go ahead.
and on that same page, Your Honor, it lists the offense history and the sentencing as well.
Okay. Objections.
Any objection? I guess when it comes around to me, I just want to make clear that on there it states projected release date is October of 2025.
Okay. All right. Then petitioners 20 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay. Now, Ms. Prater, if you'll turn to an exhibit number 22, the portion at the end that is Mr. Cabello's family plan of service. And let me know when you're there.
Okay, I'm here.
Okay. Can you briefly state what service he was required to do, and then give a summary of whether or not it was completed?
Yes. The first one I see on here is paternity testing that was completed. I believe in February of March in 2024. Legal source of income that was non-compliant. Home environment also is non-compliant due to his incarceration. Releases of information were never signed by Mr. Cabello. Probation was also a service required of him. In my time with him, I do not know if he was compliant with his probation. He did not fill out a child caregiver resource form. He did not participate in any visitation, nor participated or canceled any of his services. Parenting classes, he did not complete. Drug and alcohol assessment, as well as drug and alcohol testing, he never completed. Neither psychosocial nor individual counseling.
And is that the last of his service plan?
No, ma'am. Batter's intervention. He participated in a class while he was in prison at his first unit called, I believe it was Changes. He did participate in that. He alleges that he completed that course, but I haven't received a certificate or verification that he completed it.
Now, you're required. Can you tell me about your conversations with Isaiah Cabello? Have you discussed services with him?
Yes.
And can you tell me what he said in regards to services?
Let me interrupt. I'm sorry. Let me interrupt for just a minute. Ms. Lucero, did you tell me you'd made a request for your client to attend?
Your Honor, I did not make the request. I did not have contact. I had contact with his family who are here in the waiting room.
Okay. I have somebody just came into the waiting room on a phone line. I wanted to be sure that was not him.
I think it's one of my officers, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Ms. Gutierrez.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Amy, can you tell me about your conversations with Isaiah Cabello regarding the case?
I initially had my first interaction with Isaiah in October of 2023. That conversation did not really go anywhere. He was just incarcerated the day prior and had alleged to me that he was in a car accident. He did have several injuries when I visited him at Potter County. He actually fainted during our conversation, so I did have to cut that one short. He was released later that day. I did not see him until January of 2024 when he was incarcerated again. When I saw him in jail in January, he advised me that he didn't have time to be worrying about services for Gisea. He alleged that he wasn't the father, that Alayla and him had only interacted a couple of times, and that he had not seen Gisea since she was a newborn. He also told me that he was willing to participate in paternity testing to rule out if he was the father.
Now, going back to your conversation with him in October, let me ask the court something real quick. Well, Your Honor, we ask that the court take judicial notice that the order for genetic testing was signed by the court on September 20th of 2023.
So noted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Amy, when you spoke with Isaiah in October of 2023, did you discuss genetic testing?
I attempted to, yes.
So he was aware of it in October of 2023 that he needed to do genetic testing. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, you mentioned that that conversation happened in jail. How soon after that conversation, if you recall, was he released from county jail?
In October, he was released later that day.
So in between that conversation in October and until he was arrested again in January, are you under the impression that he was out of jail and free?
Yes.
Can you tell me what attempts you made after that initial conversation in October and up to that conversation in January that you made to speak with him?
Through reports from mom, I was notified that Isaiah was in fact living with his father. I spoke to his father, Guillermo, a couple of different times throughout this time, and he alleged to me that he wasn't living there, that he would only pop up sporadically, and he wasn't able to determine when he was going to be back. He didn't have any contact information for him or me, but he would forward my information on to Isaiah.
So, and did you make that attempt every month up to January?
Yes, several times.
And then when you had him when you found him in jail, you went in person. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, at the time you had the conversation with him in October, his service plan had already been made in order of the court. Is that correct?
Yes.
Have you had conversations with Mr. Gavello regarding whether or not he wanted to have Josiah or be a part of her life?
Initially in January of 24, he told me that he had things going on with his other son that he needed to make a priority. If he was Josiah's father, he said that, he would have to figure some other things out. He didn't make it apparent to me that he wanted to be involved at that point. My next visit with him, the following month, I did present him with the DNA test results. Once he was presented with those, he seemed to be a bit more engaged, but he would never ask for updates or how she's doing, or any kind of nature to her well-being. I would be giving him updates and he wouldn't ask any further questions and just kind of nod his head and agree.
Now, Your Honor, I asked that the court take judicial notice of the adversary hearing order in this case.
For what purpose?
There is a provision towards the end regarding visitation on Mr. Gavello for it not to start until he was adjudicated as the father and further order of the court.
Okay, so noted.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Ms. Prater, as far as Mr. Gavello's visitation, you understand it wasn't going to start until he was adjudicated as the father. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so were your efforts to have him test genetically, was that also an effort for you to help him fulfill that requirement?
Yes.
Where is Mr. Gavello at this time?
Prior to my departure, he was incarcerated in the TDCJ system. I believe the Lindsay unit is the name of the unit he's in.
Now, regarding Josiah, have you seen Josiah every month since you became since you started to be the caseworker on her case?
Yes.
And did you observe her in the home of Miss McDaniels?
Yes.
When approximately was she placed with Miss McDaniels?
October of 2023.
Can you tell me about what Josiah was like at the beginning of the case?
Very emotionally dysregulated. Any kind of hitch in her schedule. She didn't appear to be on a schedule at all. Her tantrums were pretty severe for her age. She would bang her head against the wall, pull out her own eyebrows, eyelashes, knock her head against things, bite herself, things like that.
Okay. And how is she doing more recently?
She has her moments, just like any toddler. She does kind of ebb and flow between times of more dysregulation, and times of, just kind of regulated and able to control her tantrums.
And how would you describe her relationship with Ms. McDaniels?
She's very attached and very bonded with her foster mother.
Can you please describe in detail the department's reasonable efforts to reunify the child with her mother?
Through the creation of her service plan, as well as offering further services such as housing programs, as well as probation's efforts to address her substance abuse issues.
And you created the family plan of service, is that correct?
I did.
And what actions did you take to help her complete those services?
We would offer her rides to visitation to her services. We would also try to help her with addresses and phone numbers. We would also, there was a couple of times where she asked for me to help get her an appointment, as well as finding additional providers if she was discharged from one.
Now, in regards to Mr. Cabello, what reasonable efforts to reunify has St. Francis made?
The development of the family plan of service. Mr. Cabello was non-cooperative through the times that he wasn't incarcerated. During his incarceration, he was provided copies of his family plan, as well as encouraged to find available services for us to look at that are provided to him in jail that we could count towards his service plan.
Now, going back to that service plan, if he had provided proof of completing that changes program, would St. Francis and the department have considered that batter's intervention and prevention program requirement completed?
Yes.
But he did not provide that proof, is that correct?
No, ma'am. He completed it shortly prior to transitioning prisons, is my understanding.
So my question is about whether or not he provided proof to you. Did he provide proof to you that he completed that program?
Not to myself or the local permanency specialist in his region.
Do you consider that requirement for batter's intervention and prevention program fulfilled?
Without documentation that he completed it, no.
As well, did you request genetic testing? Did you advise him? Let me rephrase. Did you inform him that genetic testing had been ordered?
I did.
And that would have helped him start visitation, is that correct?
Yes.
And in regards to attempting to locate, you made attempts to locate, it sounded like every month that he was not incarcerated. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
And you mentioned a courtesy worker. Can you tell us what that is?
When a individual or a client is placed outside of our of travel, which is Region 1, it's policy that we request a caseworker or a permanency specialist in that area to go make contact with that parent.
And has there been any indication from the courtesy worker, or let me rephrase that. Has Mr. Cabello informed the courtesy worker of any intention of wanting Josiah?
Not that I'm aware of. If so, his statements are more so out of obligation.
Object until speculation, Your Honor, on that.
Sustained.
Now, regarding best interest, is it in Josiah's best interest that the department be named temporary managing conservator?
Temporary managing conservator?
I apologize, permanent managing conservator.
Yes.
Okay. And can you go into detail as to why?
I believe that it would be detrimental to Josiah's well-being should she be reunified with either parent. Due to, I'm not entirely sure what the situation is with Alayla in her living situation, employment status, as well as Mr. Cabello not being projected to be released until later on this year.
And is a department prepared to provide for the child's daily needs and necessities?
To my knowledge, yes.
And what is the long-term plan for the child, for Josiah, that the department has?
Prior to my departure, it was adoption, unrelated adoption, concurrent with relative fictive kin, I believe.
And sorry, tongue twisting, I apologize. Is the child placed with someone that is interested in adopting her
Yes.
and that cares about her and wants what's best for her?
Yes.
Is it in the child's best interest that Alayla Holman's parental rights be terminated?
Yes.
Can you go into detail why?
Her inconsistency has already created a lasting impact with Josiah, as well as her non-compliance with her service plan.
Has she, in your opinion, made Josiah a priority during this case?
No.
In regards to Isaiah Cabello, is it in the child's best interest that Isaiah's parental rights to her be terminated?
Yes.
Can you please go into detail?
His incarceration, as well as his statements about not really wanting to be a present role in Josiah's life.
Do you believe that Alayla or Isaiah is able to take care of the physical needs of the child at this time?
No.
Is either parent able to take care of the emotional needs of the child?
No.
Pass the witness.
Thank you, Ms. Grant.
Ma'am, have you had any contact with any family of Josiah during the course of this case, other than the mother and father?
Yes.
Who have you had contact with?
Many different individuals. The initial contact with family, I believe, was with an aunt. Her name was Tasha Holman. We were completing a kinship home study with her, as well as her stepmother and father. Her mother did call me a few times, but when she would leave voicemails, she wouldn't have a return phone number, so I wasn't really able to address her. The sisters, I believe.
Did you have any contact with Isaiah's family through the course of this case?
I did.
Any contact with his uncle or his mother?
And not with his uncle. His mother, yes.
Okay, and what's his mother's name?
Ebony Tennyson.
Okay, and has Ebony expressed interest in being involved in the case?
Yes.
And have you done an ICPC on her?
Yes, we have.
Has it come back yet?
Prior to my departure, no.
Okay, but it was pending at the time you left the department, correct? Or
Yes.
left St. Francis, I apologize. And you left on what date? I apologize, ma'am, the 10th?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and did Ebony cooperate with the ICPC and provide you with all the information you needed to initiate it?
To initiate it, yes. Farther than that, that's the state in which she lives.
Okay, that's out of your purview, correct? You had everything you needed to do your part. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, and at the time you left the department, had Ebony had any visitation or contact with Josiah?
At the time that I left, she did have one FaceTime phone call with her.
Okay, and was there any problem with that call? Was it observed?
It was not observed through St. Francis.
Okay. Do you know who observed it, if anyone?
The foster parent.
Okay. And so did St. Francis during your tenure have any problem with Ebony having those calls and the foster parent monitoring?
No.
Do you have any objection to that contact continuing?
No, ma'am.
And do you have any knowledge of the order in which St. Francis or the department considers eligibility to adopt children preferentially?
Not off the top of my head. I know it's company policy that we consider family.
Okay, so would you agree it's parents first, though?
Yes.
And if that can't be accomplished, then you look at family?
Appropriate family members, yes.
And your goal in this case is concurrent with family with other appropriate safe placement, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and would you consider that to be the intervener in this case, the foster mother?
Could you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Would you consider the other safe and appropriate placement in this case to be the foster parent, the mother?
Yes.
The foster mother? Okay. And so those are your two you would have considered during your tenure?
Yes.
Okay, and you were doing both of those per your requirements, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Did you notify Alayla Holman when you changed the goal in the case?
I attempted to. I have no contact information for her right now.
Okay, so you made whatever efforts were available to you. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know if this case was ever mediated?
It was.
And was that successful or unsuccessful?
It depends.
I agree. There was no resolution reached at mediation. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. When is the last time you had contact with Alayla Holman?
The last time I had face-to-face conversations with her was in October of 24.
Would I be accurate if I said that calls with Alayla come in from unknown numbers and we don't necessarily have good callback numbers for her?
Yes.
Okay. Pass the witness, Judge.
All right, thank you, Ms. Lucero.
Ms. Prater, you'd stated that at the time that you first met with Isaiah, he was out at the Potter County Jail in October of 2023, correct?
Yes.
And then he was released that day, but he was back in jail in January of 2024, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you've been the caseworker up until January 10th of this year, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And so to the best of your knowledge, after January of 2024, has Isaiah ever been out of jail?
No.
Okay. So do you know what services maybe that he could have completed while he was out at the Randall County Jail?
To my understanding, when he was at Randall County, he could not complete any because he was being transitioned to TDCJ.
Okay. And then at TDCJ, y'all have like a parenting packet or something that y'all can send to parents. Is that right?
I believe so.
Okay. Did you ever send anything out to Isaiah after he transitioned to TDCJ?
I did send him a copy of his family plan, as well to place several calls to the jails to inquire about services available to him.
Okay. In that inquiry, were there what services were available to him there at TDCJ?
There was a parenting class that he could complete, but had a very long wait list, as well as the changes course.
Okay. And as far as, and my original question was, did you ever send him that parenting pack that I guess St. Francis can send out to parents? Did you yourself ever send that to him?
I did not.
When was the last time you had any contact with him?
Prior to his transition, I believe it was July of 24.
Okay. And besides sending him the service plan, what else have you sent him?
I sent him letters inquiring about his welfare, his progress made in services, as well as referred a courtesy worker to go see him monthly.
Okay. Now you had talked about the child and her behaviors. Were those behaviors that you observed or behaviors that were possibly the first foster mom or this foster mother advised you?
A combination of the two.
Okay. So when you were saying she was pulling out her eyelashes and things like that, was that something that you observed or something that Ms. McDaniel let you know?
It was something the initial foster parent advised me of when she was first removed. She did send me pictures at the time of Josiah missing spots in her eyebrow as well as her eyelashes.
You stated earlier that the child would at times, Josiah would, I guess she had exhibited dysregulation behaviors. What do you mean by that? I heard Ms. Henders say that, but what do you mean by that?
Dysregulation could be anything from ranging in temper tantrums to refusing to speak, refusing to do what is asked. In Josiah's case, she would become emotionally dysregulated where she would cry, she would kick, throw herself on the floor and kind of participate in some of those tantrum behaviors.
And at that time, how old was she? About two?
Yeah, about two, about a month shy of being two.
Okay. Now, you stated earlier that I guess some of Isaiah's mother, Miss Tennyson, reached out to you, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did Isaiah ever provide that name to you, or did Miss Tennyson just reach out to you on her own?
Miss Tennyson reached out to me on her own. The only family members provided by Mr. Cabello were Guillermo Cabello, his father, and his sister Aubrey.
Okay. Now, as far as Ms. Tennyson, she reached out to you back in August of 2024, correct?
I believe the time is correct. Yes.
And isn't it true that she advised you, or did she advise you that she wanted to be considered placement for Josiah at that time?
She did.
Okay. And so what steps did you take to look into that? Did you request an ICPC at that time, or what happened after August?
In August, she reached out to me. She was a little hesitant to give me her information at first, but we were kind of able to talk through the process and what that would look like. Initially, in conducting an ICPC request, we do run Texas background checks on the individual as well as the other family members and submit that in our packet, as well as criminal history and CPS history.
When was the ICPC actually, all that process you just mentioned, when did that get started? If she reached out to you in August, was it in August, September? When was it?
It was shortly after she initially reached out to me. I want to say 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I'm unsure on the timeline.
And once you got the information from her, is that turned over to someone else and they start handling that ICPC?
Yes, ma'am. In an ICPC, what we refer to as in a packet, it's not just her information, it's Josiah's as well. So it did take me a little while to submit all of those documents in the packet, and then it's submitted to our ICPC specialist through St. Francis, and then submitted and then referred to the supervisor, the program director, and above that to Texas ICPC managers.
Okay. So you're saying it took you like 2 or 3 weeks to get all that information and then transmit it to whoever was next in line. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And I know that that someone else handles that, but do you get updates, or do y'all check to see how that ICPC is going, or are y'all just out of it till y'all hear back?
We're kind of out of it until we hear back. We have no control. We're not, per policy, I don't believe we're able to even follow up with the receiving state until after the ICPC has been out for or received by that state for 30 days.
And as far as Ms. Tennyson resides in Seattle, Washington?
Yes.
Okay. And prior to you leaving the department on January the 10th, did you have any updates on that ICPC? What was the latest that you knew of?
It was still pending. I believe Ms. Tennyson had been reached out to by an ICPC specialist, from what I was told by my supervisor. But other than that, there was no official update on it at that point.
So here in Amarillo, y'all hadn't received it back from Washington, is that right?
Not when I left, no.
And as far as the exhibits that were presented today regarding any cases regarding family violence with Isaiah, did you get a chance to look at those exhibits?
I have not seen those exhibits.
Okay. So would you agree with me that any charges against Mr. Cabello never involved the mother in this case?
Not in this case, but in his previous history, yes, it did.
But as far as his criminal history is what I'm asking.
As to my knowledge, the family violence charges was from the mother of his older son.
So not Ms. Holman, correct?
Not that I know of, no.
Okay. And the contact that Ms. Tennyson had with Josiah, did y'all have to approve that, or was that left to foster mom? How did that go?
When she initially indicated to me that she wanted phone call visits, we did staff it with my supervisor. And it was determined that the most convenient way was for foster mom to supervise those visits, as we didn't have the staff to hold regular visits that Josiah would need.
After that first visit, foster mom didn't report to y'all that she was concerned with those visits, did she?
She expressed some concern, yes.
But do you know whether or not there's been another visit since that original visit?
I believe they had their next one scheduled. The date that they had it escapes me.
Okay. I'll pass the witness.
All right, thank you. Ms. Prater, how is Ms. Tennyson related to Josiah?
She is Isaiah Cabello's mother.
Okay, paternal grandmother.
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. Ms. Oscarson?
Miss Prater, is there a reason why St. Francis or the department had not contacted Miss Tennyson anytime from removal until August of 2024?
Yes, the primary reason would be that in our accurate searches, it indicated that she still lived in Texas, but the phone number was not working. And then upon that, it was Isaiah never provided any information for her or even her name to be considered for further evaluation.
Have you talked to Isaiah about his thoughts about his mother being a placement?
A couple of once or twice, I believe.
What was his opinion on it?
He said that they didn't have a great relationship.
Did you find out why?
He never told me, no.
Okay. She does have a CPS history, correct?
In Texas, yes.
Do you think that it might have been helpful for you to learn whether Mr. Cabello experienced child abuse at the hands of his mother?
Yes.
You said that Ms. McDaniel, intervener, was concerned about the FaceTime visits. What concerns did she express?
That Miss Tennyson wasn't very involved with Josiah during the call. That the call between Josiah and Miss Tennyson only lasted a few minutes.
And Miss Tennyson has never seen the child in person, to your knowledge, has she?
Not that I know of, no.
All right. While you were still the caseworker on this case, did you have the opportunity to observe some videos of Alayla that she posted on Facebook?
Yes.
What did you see in those videos?
Objection to those as hearsay of what she saw, Judge.
Sustain.
Have you had the opportunity to observe Miss McDaniel with Josiah?
Yes.
How would you characterize their interactions?
Very loving, very nurturing. Josiah would kind of always look to her for comfort and more so reassurance.
Are you aware of the various services that Josiah has been provided during this case?
Yes.
Josiah has been in speech therapy, is that correct?
Yes.
Josiah has been in behavioral therapy, is that right?
Yes.
Josiah had a psychological evaluation that determined that she has ADHD and perhaps autism, correct?
I think autism was ruled out on the latest psychological, if memory serves correctly, but ADHD was a diagnosis.
Josiah has to see a specialist eye doctor, correct?
Yes.
And do you know why?
Casey and I started noticing that she had a kind of more of a lazy eye. So she was taken to the eye doctor and given glasses to correct that.
Do you understand whether she's supposed to wear those glasses all the time or not?
Yes.
Yes, she should wear them all the time?
Yes, she should.
Were there visits where Alayla would take those glasses off of Josiah?
I'm not sure if she would take them off, but she would make comments at them.
What kind of comments?
She would call her a nerd or a four eyes.
Did Alayla also make comments about Josiah's weight?
A few times, yes.
What would she say?
She would say that Josiah is getting fat. She would also say that she was getting a little chunky. Those are just the ones that I've heard. I'm unsure if other comments were made.
Has Josiah also participated in occupational therapy?
Yes, I believe so.
Do you understand that she has difficulty with sensory and fine motor skills?
Yes.
And do you understand that Josiah takes medications for ADHD and for sleeping?
To my knowledge, they were as needed.
Okay. Do you understand what sleep concerns Josiah had?
Yes, she was going through a sleep regression.
Do you have knowledge about Alayla going to Denver and visiting trap houses?
Objection as to the source of the knowledge being hearsay potentially.
Well, she hadn't answered if she even has knowledge yet.
Yes, I do.
What do you know about that?
Objection again as to how she knows, Judge.
Yeah, let's preface that. Ms. Oscar can ask her how she knows before she says what she knows.
How do you know about Alayla going to Denver to stay in trap houses?
She had not necessarily to stay in trap houses, but she reported she was in Denver.
Excuse me, Ms. Prater, you're getting into what you know. How do you know? Basically, who told you that?
Social media, Alayla's social media.
Okay. All right, I'll sustain the objection.
Thank you, Judge.
Your Honor, if I may respond.
You can, but I'm not going to change my ruling.
Well, Your Honor, if it's Alayla's social media, then I think it could go further into questioning in regards to were these statements that Alayla Holman made and then publicized. I think under that scenario, it would not be hearsay because it would be statement of a party opponent.
Okay, still overruled. Ms. Oscar, you can proceed.
Yes, Your Honor. Alayla, to your knowledge, has not seen Josiah since when?
I believe mid to late October of 24.
Pass the witness.
All right, thank you, Ms. Wiggins.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. Prater, have you looked up Isaiah Carbajal during your investigation on TVCJ to get his projected release date?
Yes.
Did you also look at his numerous, I guess, crimes that he's in jail for?
Yes.
And those span, and just for reference, the child was born on August 21, is that correct?
Yes.
And based off the petitioner's exhibit 20, every single offense that he's in prison for, he committed after the birth of the child. Is that from your understanding correct?
Yes.
Now, in regards to that information, do you believe that he would be able to provide a safe and stable environment for the child?
No.
Has he had consistent or frequent contact with the child?
No.
And to clarify, all of the reasons why him being incarcerated and unable to work services have been due to his own actions. Is that correct?
Yes.
And in regards to visiting with the child, he's been unable to visit due to his own behavior of landing in incarceration. Is that correct?
Yes.
And you indicated that he did not ask about the child or further inquire about the well-being of the child. Is that correct?
Not during my visits.
Did he ask to draw letters or send letters or draw pictures or do any type of communication with the child while he was incarcerated?
No.
Did he ever ask for any contact at all?
No.
Now, in regards to the mother, do you believe that she is able to provide a safe and stable environment for the child?
I do not.
And in regards to her contact, has it been infrequent during the course of the case?
Yes.
And just to clarify, the child has been in the department's care for over 9 months. Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, regarding the child's current placement, you indicated she has been placed there since October of 2023. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And is her intention, if the parents' rights are terminated, to adopt the child?
That's what's been expressed to me, yes.
And do you believe that she has been able and will be able to provide all of the needs of the child if she is to adopt the child?
Yes.
Has she been consistent in placement and providing? It appears that the child started counseling approximately at the same time the child was placed with the foster mother. Is that correct?
Yes.
And she was consistent when the child needed it to send her to counseling and address all of her behavioral issues.
Yes, as well as seek out further alternatives.
And do you believe it would be in the child's best interest for the child to remain in that placement at this time?
I do.
And do you believe the department made reasonable efforts to return the child to both parents?
Yes.
All right, I'll pass the witness, Judge.
All right, thank you. Ms. Prater, along the lines of what Ms. Wiggins just asked you, was the department in St. Francis setting up the paternity test for Mr. Cabello and establishing a service plan for him? Were those reasonable efforts on the part of the department to help return the child to him?
Yes, they were.
And I believe this has been testified to on several occasions. He's not regularly visited or maintained sufficient contact with the child. Is that correct?
Yes.
So would you say he's demonstrated an inability to provide Josiah with a safe environment?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, I'll just go down the list again for anybody that has further questions for Ms. Prater. We'll start with Ms. Grant.
Just a couple, I think, Your Honor. Ms. Prater, were you aware of Delois Hinder's opinion that contact by video for this child and family may not be effective or the best approach?
I was not, no.
So if that were her testimony, I don't know if you were present for that, but if that were her testimony, would you approach any future video visits differently if you were still in this case?
If I was still in this case, I would.
Okay. Would you request that those visits in the future be monitored by a professional who has the capacity to give therapeutic visitation to the child and the family?
Your Honor, I'm going to object only for more clarification. I don't know if we're talking about a particular parent. I don't know if we're talking about a relative in this situation.
Okay,
I can clarify.
Yeah, clarify your question.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Prater, would it be in the best interest of the child that future contact with Ebony Tennyson be therapeutic in nature in the best interest of the child?
Your Honor, I object to relevance. Ms. Tennyson is not a party to this case, and she hasn't even been approved, is my understanding from Ms. Prater.
Your Honor,
I'll sustain that's not an issue until the court rules today. So I'm going to table that. I'm not saying I wouldn't consider it in the future, but today's not the time for it.
Thank you, Judge. I'll just pass the witness for that in that matter, Judge.
Okay, then let's just go back, let's go this way. Ms. Gutierrez, do you have any further questions?
yes, Your Honor, I have a follow-up question.
Okay.
Ms. Prater, Ms. Oscarson asked about Ms. Tennyson possibly having CPS history. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did you confirm that Ms. Tennyson did have CPS history?
Same objection that they entered, Judge, as that's not relevant for today's hearing.
Sustain.
Right. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Lucero, any further questions?
Further questions for Ms. Prater, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Oscarson, any more questions?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Wiggins.
No further questions.
All right. Ms. Gutierrez, do you want Ms. Prater to stay on?
I'd like Ms. Prater to stay on if she could.
Okay, can you do that, Ms. Prater?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Prater, I just wanted to tell you, I hadn't heard that you had left St. Francis. I'm sorry to hear that. You've been one of the best permanency specialists we've had, especially as far as preparation for court, and that means a lot to us.
No,
I agree. I totally agree.
Okay. All right, then, Ms. Gutierrez, do you have any other witnesses?
Your Honor, I call Heidi Elliott very briefly.
Ms. Gutierrez?
Thank you, Your Honor. Heidi, you are the new caseworker on this case. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you are employed with St. Francis Ministries as a permanency specialist. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
When did you officially become the caseworker?
Today.
Today.
Well, Friday after
Okay.
Amy left.
So Friday, January 10th. Is that correct?
Yes.
Since you became the caseworker, have you attempted to reach out to Layla Holman?
Yes, I attempted this morning. The number that was in impact for her, her sister had answered, and she had said that she doesn't know how to get a hold of her. She don't know where she's at, and she hung up on me then.
So your attempts to contact Ms. Holman have been unsuccessful. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And has an attempt, to your knowledge, been made this month to reach out to Mr. Cabello?
No, ma'am. That's next on my list.
Okay. Pass the witness.
All right, Ms. Grant?
No questions, Judge.
Ms. Lucero?
Questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Oscarson,
No questions.
Ms. Wiggins.
No question.
All right, then. Do we want Miss Elliott to stay too also, Ms. Gutierrez?
Yes, Miss Elliott needs to stay, Your Honor, and I reserve closing for when all parties have rested.
All right. Okay, so you have no more witnesses, I take it.
No more witnesses. I rest at this time.
All right. Ms. Grant, do you have witnesses?
One brief witness, Your Honor, Ebony Tennyson, but based on the court's previous ruling to objections, I won't go very far with her at all.
All right. I'm looking, she's been in the waiting room most of the day, but she's not there now.
She may be, is she at Miss Lucero's office with Christopher, perhaps, Miss Lucero?
Oh, no, no one's here with
Okay.
me.
Okay.
I mean, literally, last time I looked up, she was still there, but that's been about 10 minutes, but she's been there since the get-go.
Yeah,
Do
Your
you?
Honor, could you give us just a couple of minutes so I can reach out to her? I don't know if she lost connection or I can reach out to her.
Yeah.
Sure. She's waited patiently all morning, so
Yeah.
let's just
Your
take it
Honor,
back. Well,
I don't mind going out of order if I need to facilitate getting her back.
well, I don't know what that means.
I mean, someone else can call witnesses prior to me if I need to.
All right, Miss Lucero, do you have witnesses?
No, Your Honor, I was just going to also call Miss Tennyson, but
Yeah.
that's all I had.
I
Okay.
thought you were. That would get us down to Miss Oscarson. Miss Oscarson, do you have witnesses?
Yes, I was going to call my client, Casey McDaniel.
Yeah, okay. Let's try to get, if we're going to get Miss Tennyson, let's take a 5-minute break and try and get her. I suspect that Miss Oscarson's testimony is going to take some time, so.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, we'll take a quick break and try to get Miss Tennyson in, and then we may be taking another break shortly. So, Miss Grant, you may proceed.
Thank you. Miss Tennyson, are you the paternal grandmother of the child, the subject of this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And have you had an ICPC initiated on your home in Washington?
Yes, ma'am.
And we're not going to go into it today necessarily, but you have had one visit so far by phone, correct?
I've had two.
Two, okay. And would you like to continue that effort?
I would like to build the relationship with my granddaughter, yes.
Okay. Are you interested in adopting Josiah?
I am interested in adopting Josiah.
Okay, pass the witness, Judge.
All right, thank you. Miss Gutierrez?
No questions, Your Honor.
Miss Lucero?
Your Honor, I do have some questions. I don't know. I don't want to get outside what you previously ordered, so you may have to call me back on this. But Ms. Tennyson, when did you first reach out to St. Francis regarding your granddaughter?
Ooh, I believe I reached out to them about maybe the end of August when the DNA test results came back, when I found out that I was the grandmother. Then I was pretty much pushed to the side, like, no, you can't get her. So I waited about 2 weeks and I started moving up the chain of command.
Okay. Who did you speak with first at St. Francis?
I spoke with Amy Prater.
Okay. And then after those couple of weeks, do you recall who you spoke to next?
Yes, ma'am. Stacy Brown.
Okay. Did you speak with anybody else after that?
Yes, ma'am. Jessica Hoskins, which is the supervisor over both of them.
Okay. And eventually, did St. Francis decide that they would do an ICPC home study on you?
Actually, it was Jessica Hoskins that decided to initiate it.
Okay. Do you remember what month that was in?
I believe that was already maybe like September, October. What happened is that the address was mistyped or I guess it was mistyped. It was not correct. And then so I contacted ICPC in the state of Texas. They had to send it back so it could be revised. And then they sent it in to the state of Texas, ICPC. I contacted them. They rushed it up here to the state of Washington. I contacted the ICPC here in the state of Washington, which it was assigned to a social worker here.
Okay. And let me ask you this, Ms. Tennyson, have you ever served as a foster parent or adopted a child that wasn't biologically yours?
Yes, ma'am, I have.
And how long ago was that?
Oh, so I just adopted my husband's great nephew, which is my great nephew. We adopted him. It was finalized December 29th, 2023.
Okay.
Jack, to this line of questioning and with regard to relevance.
Yeah,
Okay.
I let it go this far, but I'm not going to let it go any farther.
Okay. All right then.
We're not looking for placement today.
Okay. All right. And just to be clear, just one more question, Ms. Tennyson, when was the last time that you had, what was your last visit or phone visit or whatever? Was it a visual visit with your granddaughter?
Yes, it was a Teams meeting that I had set up with the foster mom, which was yesterday.
Yes or no? Okay. All right. I'll pass the witness.
All right, thank you. Ms. Oscarson,
No questions.
Ms. Wiggins,
No questions.
and I can't remember, Ms. Gutierrez, if I asked you.
No questions, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, if there's nothing further from Ms. Tennyson, can she be excused?
No objection.
No
Okay.
objection. She's excused, Judge.
All right, Ms. Tennyson, I'm going to go ahead and excuse you from the hearing, but I'll let you know this now that you've testified and you've been released. The rest of this hearing is being broadcast on YouTube under our court name. It's Northern Panhandle Child Protection Court. And that will be continued until we conclude the hearing. So if you want to go to that site, you can watch what's happening.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, then I guess that's Miss Grant went out of order. Miss Grant, did you have any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor, I rest.
All right, Miss Lucero, any witnesses?
No, Your Honor, I rest.
All right, Miss Oscarson, it's your turn.
Intervener calls Casey McDaniel.
Okay. Miss McDaniel, if you'd raise your right hand, please. Do you swear the testimony you give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, thank you. I'll tell you, I've got two texts that I've got to respond to. I don't want to interfere in the middle of it. They're waiting to hear from me. Let me take a break real quick and get those out of the way. All right, then, Miss Oscarson, you may question your witness.
Ms. McDaniel, how are you employed?
I'm self-employed. I own a wedding venue and coordinate weddings.
What is your highest level of education?
I have a master's in business education.
Were you a former school teacher?
I was. I taught high school for 6 years.
Have you been a licensed foster parent since 2022?
I started the process in 2022, and I think I was official in 2023.
Since your time as a foster parent, how many kids have you fostered?
I've had 5 kids in my home.
How many do you have presently?
2.
Josiah and another child?
Yes.
When did Josiah come to live with you?
In October the 2nd, I believe, October 2nd of 2023.
At that time, how old was she?
She was 2.
At the time she came to live with you in October of 23, was she receiving any services?
She was not.
Did you observe anything about Josiah that made you engage with St. Francis about getting her services?
Yeah, pretty quickly, she began having these tantrums, and I really thought at first that it was due to her lack of language. She had very few words for a 2-year-old. And so I really thought it was her inability to communicate with me. So we engaged for speech therapy.
Did she graduate from speech therapy?
She has.
Did she also go to behavioral therapy, or does she still?
She currently does behavior therapy, yes.
Is that with Ms. Henders?
That's not with Ms. Henders. That one is through Arrow Ministries. Our therapist's name's Logan.
Okay. Does she do occupational therapy?
Yes, she gets occupational therapy right now.
Is that with Care Options for Kids?
Yes.
And are they seeing her and helping her with sensory and fine motor skill impairments?
Yes.
So has there been some question regarding which professional you see as to whether she may or may not have autism?
Yes.
What is the opinion of some of the professionals?
The first person we saw diagnosed her with autism. And then the second evaluation, which was not in person, it was over Zoom, said, I believe it was they can't rule it out, but they can't say that she does have it. They added a trauma-specific diagnosis saying that a lot of her issues were triggered by trauma.
And does she see Balfour Optical for issues related to a lazy eye?
Yes.
What is the treatment that they have prescribed?
Glasses, consistent wearing of glasses. They originally told us that they were going to try the glasses. If she was consistent about it, they were hopeful that that would make a correction and would prevent a surgery. We went back, I think maybe 3 months later, and they said that the glasses were helping and that to continue those and follow up.
Is Josiah on prescription medication?
She is.
What is she on?
She takes Clonidine. It's for sleep. And And then, so she takes that in the evenings, and then in the mornings she takes, prescription wise, it's the off brand of Zoloft for anxiety.
Your Honor, we'll offer at this time Intervenors Exhibit 1, which is the child's records with Balfour Optical.
All right, I guess we better just make sure it's clear. Let's call it foster mothers 1.
Okay.
We get kind of confused when we got mother and foster mother. All right, any objections to 1 for the foster mother?
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
Respondent foster mother's Exhibit 1 is admitted.
We offer Foster Mothers 2, which is the business records and affidavit from Wright Family Medical, which is the child's medical provider.
Objections?
No objection.
No objection.
All right, respondent foster mothers 2 is admitted.
We offer Foster Mothers 3, which is the affidavit and business records from Amaryllis Stat Care, which is another of the child's medical providers.
Objections?
No objection.
No objection.
Okay, respondent foster mothers 3 is admitted.
We offer Foster Mother 4, which is the affidavit and business records from Care Options for Kids, which is the child's occupational therapy records.
Objections?
No objection.
No objection.
Respondent foster mother number 4 is admitted.
We offer Foster Mothers Exhibit 5, which is the affidavit and business records from Children's Healthcare Associates, another of the child's medical providers.
Objections? All
No
right.
objection.
No objection.
Respondent foster mothers 5 is admitted.
We offer Foster Mothers 6, which is the affidavit and business records from Green Apple Therapy Records, which provided the child with speech therapy.
All right, objections?
No objection.
No objection.
All right, respondent foster mother 6 is admitted.
We offer Foster Mothers 16, which is the affidavit and business records from Stonebridge, which provided the child with a psychological evaluation.
Objections?
No objection.
All right, respondent foster mother 16 is admitted.
We offer Foster Mothers 17, which is the records from Arrow Child and Family Ministries, which provided the child with therapy.
All right, objections?
No objection.
All right.
No objection.
Foster mother 17 is admitted.
All right, Ms. McDaniel, I'd like to talk now about Alayla, the biological mother's visits with Josiah. Do you often take Josiah to those visits?
Yes, I think I've taken her to all but maybe 2 or 3.
Have there been concerns with Alayla not showing up?
Yes, often.
How does Josiah react when Alayla does not show up for a visit?
She's confused. A lot of it, we often meet at a park, and so it's distressing to her that she doesn't get to go play at the park. Most of those visits are, we show up and we don't have to wait long. There's been times though that we've been asked to wait for 45 minutes in the car, which is hard to get a 3-year-old to do, and resulted in an hour-long screaming, crying. She will often say like, well, she was promised pizza or candy at the last visit, and why isn't she getting it at this visit? That sort of thing.
So is it your understanding that Alayla has promised things to Josiah and then doesn't follow through?
Yes.
Has Alayla been late to visits?
Often. Mm-hmm.
How does Josiah react when she's required to wait on Alayla?
It's hard. She's very upset. She's a busy girl, so she likes to get going, and she doesn't understand why she has to wait. I do the best to occupy her time. We bring activities in the car, things like that, but it's hard in the car. So it's distressing to her.
Have you heard Alayla call Josiah names?
Yes.
What have you heard Alayla call Josiah?
I've heard her call her fat girl. As she was putting her in my car, I have heard her refer to her as a nerd with the glasses. I've heard fat girls a couple of times.
Has Alayla been ugly to you in front of Josiah?
Yes. The second visit we had, I went to pick Josiah up, and Josiah saw me. She called me mom, and that was upsetting to Alayla, and it resulted in her yelling and cussing at me across the parking lot in the St. Francis office.
How did Josiah react to that?
She was crying. She didn't understand. I was trying to console her. Her mom had brought her like a stuffed animal and a blanket. And then when the mom comment was said, Alayla said, well, I guess I'm not going to give you these presents if I'm not your mom. And then that was upsetting. So Josiah was crying some more. And she just kept screaming, hold me to me. And I was trying to not overstep and allow her to say goodbye to her mom. And it was distressful to her.
Do you recall in October of 23, Alayla being arrested at a visit?
Yes, that was the first visit we had since Josiah was placed in my care. We were at the St. Francis office, and I was sent a text and asked to come inside and get her earlier than the visit was supposed to end. And so I came inside, and there were cops in the waiting room. And so I just took a seat in the waiting room. The cops were there to arrest Alayla. And then Alayla called some friends into the office. Alayla and the friends began having a screaming match with the officers, to the point where the St. Francis workers came out into the lobby and removed myself and my other foster child into a safe area back in the offices. And I continued to say, Josiah is standing in the middle out there of that. And she was just standing in the middle of the altercation between the cops and mom and friends, crying and screaming. And, you know, I personally felt like she was unsafe.
Have you observed pictures of Alayla at a bar?
Yes.
Objection, Your Honor. I'm gonna say that those are probably from social media and not authenticated.
Sustained.
Have you kept track of every visit that mom was offered versus every visit that she attended?
Yes.
Did you do the calculation and determine what percentage of time mom actually took advantage of her allowed visitation?
Yes.
What'd you determine?
It was like less than 40% of the time. I think had she have gotten visits, you know, weekly from the beginning of this case, she
Objection. This is speculation from this point forward in the answer.
Sustained.
Have you ever taken Josiah to have a visit with Isaiah, the biological father?
No.
When is the last visit that Josiah had with Alayla?
I believe it was the last week in October, maybe like it could have been like November 1st, 2nd, somewhere around there, but it was over 2 months ago.
Has Josiah asked for Alayla since then?
No.
When you mentioned when Josiah came to live with you that you felt like that she didn't have very many words for a 2-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
How is she doing today?
She talks 24/7. She had, gosh, probably, I mean, she wasn't putting 2 words together, and that's definitely something a 2-year-old should be doing. And she speaks in full sentences. She communicates, you know, very effectively. Oftentimes, you know, she'll tell you if she doesn't like something, but she definitely is able to communicate now.
How is she doing with the tantrums and handling her emotions?
It's hit and miss. I feel like she hasn't had a fair shot at normalcy yet, but she has improved. She still lashes out. I would say that the tantrums are definitely less frequent. They are not as easily triggered, but when she does get upset, we still have issues with her. She bites herself quite frequently. I get calls from the daycare that she's, and notes sent home that she's bit herself when she's upset there as well. She hits and kicks, pinches, bites. We get sent home from daycare sometimes. But overall, I'm seeing progress in her.
Have you been able to make a determination as to whether Josiah does better with frequent contact with mom or does better when mom has gone away, either in jail or just disappeared? Is there any relation to Josiah's behavior?
Objection, calls for speculation and a professional opinion. She's not an expert.
Overruled. She can comment on what she sees.
I see that Josiah does better with consistency. And so there was a very short period where visits with mom were consistent and she was okay. They quickly became inconsistent, and she does worse when she's having those inconsistent visits.
Have you observed that it is better or worse for Josiah to be on a schedule?
100% better. We have a schedule that we put on our refrigerator at home with pictures that she sees, this is what we're going to do. This is what's next. In the evening, we talk about, here's what the day tomorrow is going to look like. We pre-talk, here's what we're going to do next, or there's 10 minutes until we stop this activity. Because she is very insecure and anxious about change.
There was some talk with Ms. Henders about food anxiety. Mm-hmm. Have you observed anything like that in your home?
Absolutely. When she first came to me, it was like she could not get enough food in her body. I mean, anything and everything, it was like shoveling into her mouth. As we've progressed, she's gotten to the point where she can kind of distinguish a little bit between food she likes and doesn't like, because she knows there's going to be foods that she likes. She still struggles with it. She wants to know that it's available 24/7. We have a drawer in our refrigerator that is free access. She can at any time go get a snack out of that. They're the healthier snacks, that sort of thing. But even if I might say, you can't have your ice cream until you eat your dinner tonight, that's a huge struggle for her that causes major out of control meltdowns. I'm talking like sometimes 2-hour long meltdowns.
And when was the most recent 2-hour meltdown?
It was prior to us starting behavior therapy. She's been pretty successful in that. A couple months ago, I would say that there was a point where she was gagging and like throwing up on herself because she was so upset and couldn't get herself under control.
What kind of things does Josiah enjoy doing today?
She is in gymnastics, which she loves. She got a gymnastics bar for Christmas, so she flips around our house on it all the time. She also takes ballet, and she likes playing outside. The girl would be outside 24/7 if she could. We go to church quite frequently, and she enjoys her group of friends there that she likes to play with. And she likes school as well. When she can, when her behavior is managed, she does really well at school too. She enjoys her friends.
Did she get to play in the snow last week?
She did. She's told me she wanted to build a snowman, so we went out there and I got about a fourth of it built and she knocked it over.
That's about right for 3.
Mm-hmm.
There was some testimony by Ms. Tennyson about some Teams or FaceTime visits. Did you coordinate or cooperate to get those set up?
Absolutely, yeah.
Did you observe the visits?
Yes.
Let's talk about the first one. How long was the visit?
38 minutes, I believe.
Okay. What portion of that was Josiah involved?
5 to 8 minutes, maybe.
What was Josiah doing?
We were sitting at the kitchen counter. I think she was eating something at the time, so I could that's about how I can get her to focus for that long.
You said Josiah was involved for a few minutes, what was the rest of the time?
The rest of the time, Ms. Tennyson was talking to me.
What was she saying?
She had questions about the case, which I was told not to, I couldn't release any information about the case really, but she had questions about what my intention in the case were. I reported to St. Francis, not that Ebony and I get along great. We're friendly with each other. I reported that she's friendly and she's kind. I guess my concern was just that longer was spent talking to me than Josiah. And she over and over just expressed that kind of in a roundabout way, she would like to be adoptive placement and instead of me.
Have you FaceTimed with any other of Josiah's biological relatives?
One of Josiah's cousins, who was also in the foster care system, lived with us for a while. And then she's since aged out of the foster care system. So we remain in contact with her. We FaceTime. She came over 2 weekends ago for our little Christmas get together. So we talk to her often as well.
What is your intention with Josiah?
I would like to adopt her and raise her. I don't have any intention to, keep her away from her biological family. I want her to know that she's adopted, know who her family is, have a fair opportunity to explore that when she's older if she would like. And I want her family that's healthy and a good impact on her to be a part of her life.
Do you love her?
More than anything in the world.
Based on your observations, does she love you?
Yes.
Are you asking that the court order that Josiah not be moved out of your home without a hearing?
Yes.
Why?
I think that would be number one, detrimental to Josiah, for her to have to move very quickly and unexpectedly. And I know there's a home study out that I just have seen kids be moved in the past quite abruptly that I think would literally cause so much trauma on Josiah that I don't know that she'd recover.
Based on your observations with Alayla, is it your opinion that she's in a position to parent Josiah?
No.
And have you ever even met Mr. Cabello?
No.
Pass the witness.
All right, thank you, Ms. Gutierrez.
No questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Lucero.
I just have a couple, Your Honor.
Okay.
Ms. McDaniel, whenever you stated that the mother was arrested at that visit in October of 2023, that's what you said, correct? That was the date?
Yes.
Okay. At the time that the police showed up, was the mother actually visiting with Josiah?
Yes.
Okay. So they just showed up out of the blue as far as you know?
I believe St. Francis contacted them.
Okay. To let them know that Ms. Holman was there at the office?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to speculation
know.
unless Ms. Oscarson has personal knowledge of that.
Ms. McDaniel?
Yes, Your Honor, I apologize, Ms. McDaniel.
Yeah, sustained unless she has personal knowledge.
Okay. And remind me again, Ms. McDaniel, what was the last visit that Ms. Holman had with Josiah?
It was very end of October, very beginning of November, sometime around there.
Okay. And even though she hadn't had contact for a while with her mom, she still has meltdowns sometimes, or I guess behavioral issues at daycare, you stated?
Occasionally. I would say less frequently, but yeah, occasionally.
Okay. I'll pass the witness.
All right, thank you. Ms. Wiggins.
I have no questions.
All right. Anyone have follow-ups for Ms. McDaniel?
Judge, may I have
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms.
couple
Grant.
questions?
I left
That's
you out.
okay.
Sorry.
Very briefly, Judge. Ms. McDaniel, are you testifying that it's a problem both if the mother visits and if she doesn't show up, they both cause issues?
Can you say that again?
Is it your opinion that both the mother showing up for a visit and the mother not showing up for a visit both cause individual issues with the child?
Showing up for the visits and making promises that she can't keep causes problems, and then saying that she's going to show up and then not being there causes problems. When when they're not visiting, I just don't tell Josiah that we're having visits, and she doesn't know any different.
Okay. And how did you become aware that St. Francis contacted the police as you testified? How did you get that information?
I honestly don't even, I don't know, maybe.
No, ma'am,
I don't know.
Excuse me, don't
I don't remember.
speculate. If you don't know, that's
okay.
a good answer.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Did you witness the arrest?
I witnessed, I guess it was the arrest because they escorted mom. They asked us to stay inside. Once the situation calmed down, they got the friends to leave. They got Josiah back in the office area with me, and then the police escorted mom outside, which later resulted in her arrest. So they asked us to stay inside, I guess, until mom was off the premises.
Do you have any personal knowledge of why she was arrested?
No.
And did she have any visits after that date that you took the child to?
Oh yes. Yeah. Well, yes, she was arrested, spent time in jail, and then once she was released from jail, had visits.
Okay. And as far as the visits at the park, were you required to stay in the car since you were not actually an attendee of the visits? Is that why the child had to remain in the vehicle for so long?
So it's kind of unclear. At first, when visits, after the visit where she was yelling and cussing at me across the parking lot, I was asked to come to the back of St. Francis, and the St. Francis worker would come out to my car and get her, so I wouldn't have contact with mom. So for a good extended period of time, the visits were working that way. Once I guess St. Francis deemed that she could go somewhere other than the office, and we started doing the park. I guess I just continued that and assumed that that's what I was supposed to do. There on the time that we were in the car for 45 minutes waiting, I had gotten out of the car at one point and walked.
And I can probably clear up what I'm getting at, ma'am, to shorten this.
Sure.
Was someone else monitoring the visits at the park, or was that your responsibility?
Oh no, there was a St. Francis worker monitoring.
Pass the witness, Judge.
All right. Anyone else have further questions for Ms. McDaniel?
I do have a few questions for Ms. McDaniel.
Okay.
Ms. McDaniel, have you viewed a social media profile? Oh, I apologize, Your Honor. That's a reminder. I'll turn that off. Have you reviewed a social media profile that you believe belongs to Layla Holman?
Objection to any introduction of a social media profile that's unauthenticated, Your Honor.
We're not there yet. I'll let her go a little further.
Thank you, Your Honor. Can you please answer the question, Ms. McDaniel?
Yes, I have.
What social media platform is that profile on?
Facebook.
And what leads you to believe that that is her social media page?
Pictures of her, and then she live streams on it where she's like actively at that time saying, you know, it's her talking at that moment.
And are there pictures?
Judge, I want to renew my objection as to authentication of actually who it is. It's a post on a website that's publicly viewable and possibly publicly accessible or hackable.
Ms. Grant, I know where you're going. I'm going to let him get there. I'm not going to let her testify to what she's seen.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
I'm letting Ms. Gutierrez make a record if she wants, but I'm not going to hear anything that she's seen unless Ms. Holman is here to say that is my Facebook page.
Your Honor, then I ask the court to take judicial notice of the seminal case of Danda versus State, and I can send that by email to everybody if the court wishes me to do so.
I don't need to see it.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. I believe in that case, it does note that it doesn't need to prove beyond a doubt that that profile belongs to that person, but it should have indications that it does belong to that person. And things like pictures, comments, or things like commentary on events in that person's specific life are considered proof of authenticating that profile.
Okay. I'll let you make your record however you want, but I'm not going to allow the actual what she's seen or heard in.
Ms. McDaniel, on that social media profile, are there pictures of Josiah that look recent?
Yeah.
Objection, Your Honor. That's testimony as to something she saw.
Yeah, this has gone far enough. I don't want to hear any more about that Facebook page.
I pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Now, anyone else have further questions for Ms. McDaniel?
Your Honor, I just have one question.
Okay.
Ms. McDaniel, who asked you to monitor any computer systems or social media for the mother in this case, if anyone?
Nobody.
Pass the witness, Judge.
Okay. Anyone else?
No questions, Your Honor.
All right, then, Ms. Oscarson, did you have any other witnesses?
No, Your Honor, we rest.
All right, everyone rest and close.
I rest, I would like to make a closing.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll keep it brief. Your Honor, we are asking for termination grounds against Ms. Holman of her parental rights to the child Josiah based on Texas Family Code grounds for D, E, and O. We are also asking for termination grounds on Isaiah Cabello based on the termination grounds of O for failure to complete the service plan and constructive abandonment, as well as Q. Your Honor, we do believe that our exhibits 16 and 17 do establish that that we've met the requirement to show that criminal conduct and the confinement of up to 2 years. I've also circulated a case to the court and request judicial notice of it. I believe it's in Re MAH. It's a January 2024 memorandum opinion out of our 7th Court of Appeals that has a discussion of whether or not it's appropriate for the court to look at and consider things like probation or parole versus the date that it appears to more depend on of the maximum sentence date. So, and Your Honor, to summarize, I believe that case says, unless you've got some more solid evidence than just speculation about parole or projected release, you should depend on the amount of years that the judgment indicates. And I believe those judgments indicate past 2 years. We also ask for findings of reasonable efforts to reunify the family, specifically for both parents, on the mother for creating the family plan of service, for attempting to aid her with housing, for attempting to maintain communication with her, as well as facilitating visitation and trying to help her complete that service plan through transportation and referrals. In regards to the father, Isaiah Cabello, we also asked for a finding of reasonable efforts to reunify in creating his family plan of service and requesting genetic testing to help him meet the requirements to start visitation. Our attempts to locate him, creating the family plan of service, referring a courtesy worker to visit him each month while incarcerated, as well as sending him monthly updates, inquiring about services, and requesting an ICPC home study on the paternal grandmother.
All right. Okay, I will make all the findings you requested as far as the efforts to reunify. You said you disseminated a case to me. How'd you get it to me?
I just emailed that case, Your Honor. I'm anticipating an objection from Ms. Lucero. With much respect to Ms. Lucero, I do anticipate an objection from her. And I wanted the judge to have a case before it that clarified the issue of it being sufficient and appropriate to depend on the years that the judgment sentences.
I'm in agreement with you there, but I'm looking at my emails. I don't have an email from you.
I sent it to Brittany. She might
Okay.
not send it to you.
Okay. For future reference, if it's something that we're in the middle of the trial, don't send it to Brittany, send it directly to me.
Yes, Your Honor. Would you like me to do that now?
No, I'm in agreement with you as to what the case says. I've read, I don't know if it's the same case. I've read several cases on that very same subject. So, okay, then, Ms. Wiggins, your recommendation.
I do believe it's in the child's best interest that both the father and the mother's rights are terminated. I believe placement should be continued, and the child should not be moved until further court order. Also, with these visitations, I don't believe they should be supervised by placement if they continue with the grandmother.
Okay.
Your Honor, may I make one request if the court deems
Yeah, let me
appropriate?
take, before I forget this. Ms. McDaniel, when Ms. Tennyson's had visits, was it only you? There wasn't anybody from St. Francis or the department present?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Give me a minute, Ms. Grant.
Your Honor,
Yes, Judge.
I have a response to that request as well.
Give me a minute. Okay, a response?
Yes, Your Honor, we are asking, well, let me start off with this. We stipulate that St. Francis will supervise those visits as opposed to placement. And with that, we ask Ms. Wiggins to withdraw her request that it be ordered for St. Francis to do so at this time. The reason is it is a final order, Your Honor. And if the court makes an order regarding grandmother's visitation, that becomes a fairly permanent order that would survive even adoption. Considering the court's expression earlier in this hearing that you were not going to take that issue up of grandmother's visitation or placement, we request that the court not make any orders regarding the grandmother's visitation at this time.
All right, I'll meet you halfway on that. Okay, then, based on the evidence I've heard today, I do.
Your Honor, may I make one request?
One more, that's it.
I'm sorry, I had asked and then Ms. Gutierrez went and I didn't get to ask mine.
What's your request?
I don't know that it would be appropriate for this hearing, Your Honor, but since this is a final order, I'm deeply concerned that St. Francis, if it did occur, would call the police on any visiting parent if they know there's an arrest pending. So I would ask that for future benefit of the child, that not occur in at least this case.
I haven't heard any evidence of that, so I'm not going to make any rulings concerning something that's purely speculation.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you. All right, based on the evidence I've heard, as well as the exhibits that have been admitted, I first find that it's in the best interest of Holman that the parental rights of the mother, Alea Holman, be terminated. I'll terminate those rights today based on Texas Family Code Section 161.001, subsections B1, D, E, and O. I further find, based on the evidence and exhibits, that it's in the best interest of the child, parental rights of the father, Isaiah Cabello, be terminated. I'll terminate those rights today based on Texas Family Code Section 161.001, subsections B, 1N as in Nancy, O, and Q. I'll name the department permanent managing conservator. I will continue Josiah's current placement. I will order that Josiah's placement not be changed without a prior court order. And I will order that if any visits between Ebony Tennyson and the child take place in the future, they'll be supervised by someone from either St. Francis or the department. Okay, I will set the first review hearing in this case for April 7th, 2025. That will be by Zoom like today's hearing, so parties and attorneys can go on the court's online docket a day or two in advance of April 7th to see exactly what time we'll have that hearing. I don't know if Ms. Gutierrez, Ms. Gutierrez and Ms. Oscarson, I don't know if all these exhibits have been provided to Ms. Taylor, the court reporter, but if not, let's be sure she has them.
I have all of Teresa's. Blair, I don't believe I have yours.
Okay.
Okay, I will get them to you.
Okay, that was our last hearing for the day, so we will stand in recess. Everyone have a good rest of your week.
Thank you.
Your Honor, just for clarity of the record, are you also making the finding that myself and Ms. Lucero are dismissed after appellate de novo
Oh,
hearings?
yeah, I'm sorry. I should have told you that. Yes, yeah.
Your Honor, I do have one more question. I have a question. So as far as any continued visits with the paternal grandmother, Ms. Tennyson, are you just leaving that up to whether or not St. Francis approves of that, or how would that work?
Well, I tell you what, I wasn't going to go that far, but I will. I'll order that any further visitation for Ms. Tennyson will be as recommended by the child's counselor, Ms. Henders.
Okay.
Okay, I believe that's everything. So, yes, I didn't say that, but I will say that the Randall County Domestic Relations Office, Ms. Wiggins, will be continued in the case. All other court-appointed relation, well, and so will, no, I'm sorry, Ms. Oscarson will be continued in the case. Ms. Grant and Ms. Lucero will be dismissed from the case once all appellate and de novo periods have expired. Ms. Grant, Ms. Lucero, if you talk to your clients, explain to them their de novo rights and their appellate rights. Okay, we will stand in recess on this case. Y'all have a good rest of your week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.